Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of bLU Talk's Amplify Your Message. I am in a new place, so who knows what the sun is going to do all day, but I will try my best to manage the lighting because it's gonna come up. So, for those who have never heard of bLU Talks before, I'm just gonna get a visual. bLU Talk stands for business, life, and the universe. That's what it stands for because we believe that it's all connected. So why not have a bunch of speakers, authors, podcasters, change makers come and talk about what they love, who they are, and of course, the work that they do and the message that they have. So for those who have never met me, my name is Laura Lake, and I stand for courageous connection. And really what that means is we will talk about your stories, and behind it all is actually a mental health journey, or what I like to call an emotional thread. And we're going to see how when we look at the old version of us and we actually care about that person and connect with that person and stop trying to change that person, that's the space that we come from to really embody who we are today and to be able to share that with our clients. So that's where I'm coming from. Dr. Jacqueline, can you tell us a little bit about you so that the audience knows where you're coming from today?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me co-host today too. I really appreciate it and take it as an honor to have been asked to be able to be here and talk to all the wonderful people that we're going to interview today. So I am actually, I'm a mental health therapist. I left my practice to go into leadership development because I saw how the nervous system, this is our brain and all of our senses, so our reality, it actually presents very similar during high business stress as it does with somebody with PTSD. That's post-traumatic stress disorder, right? Like every single entrepreneur is like, oh my God, it is real, right? Like to validate your feelings, our nervous system, it cannot function under constant stress. And so because my specialty is neuroscience, I'm a conscious leadership strategist and I get leaders more access to their brain. My goal is to serve leaders who are in high states of stress to help them calm, gain clarity, so that they can see the vision moving forward. And that actually goes really well with the bLU Talks theme is our life and our business and the universe. It literally all goes together. And we can see how the universe is working well with us, not against us. It's trying to teach us and help us moving forward. And it is assisting in our goals. But if we don't know how to harness our nervous system and our reality, then we can't tap into those techniques and those skills. So that's why I'm here today. My goal is to empower people and to help in any way that I can. And I'm very curious about all of our guests that we have coming on today.
So we do have our first guest in the background. Dennis, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. I always like to ask and be mindful. And yes, I'm going to be asking about the Marvel stuff in the background, but I do have an opening question that I love to ask just to shake things up, because here on bLU Talk's Amplify Your Message, I do not want your elevator pitch. I want to know the human being behind all of the business, behind all of the message. So are you ready for my big question, Dennis?
I am ready. Let's go for it.
You're like, I don't know what to expect. Okay, Dennis, I'm going to write down your name. Dennis. Here's the big question. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Oh man, that's good.
I know, right?
Well, I think the 3 words that would describe me is thoughtful, compassion, and very straight to the point, so to speak.
Can't write today, to the point.
I like
and the
that
idea behind these is it's the energy behind the words, not necessarily the words themselves. So no worries. It's going to change every time.
Yeah.
So Dennis, the only other question I have before we start to play here is, how do these 3 words, thoughtful, compassionate, and to the point, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
I feel we as a people, we as a community, we have to be thoughtful where we're giving out a message that is going to help somebody's mental health, as Dr. Jacqueline alluded to, right? Because I think when we send the wrong messages, there's a lot of wrong signals, right? Yep. So that's where the thoughtfulness come from, thoughtful and caring come from. Straight to the point, kind of It's listen, I'm communicating as clear as I can to you. Now, if there's misunderstanding, I want you to do the same with me, because I don't want to be wasting your time, your day. I don't want to be wasting our time, essentially, because some people say time is a construct, right? I believe in that, but time's also very, 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 very valuable. And if you're sitting around just waiting for something to make sense, then I'm not doing my job.
Right.
Yeah.
You're talking about being a co-creator.
Co-create. Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here for, to create.
Now, not everybody remembers every piece of everything that we say. So if you could, very thoughtfully and kindly, like, try to give us something that we can copy paste, tell other people about your message, what would you say that message is?
Be an exceptional human being.
Ooh.
Don't be a half, so to speak, but I can't use the other word, but Jesus wrote on one, right? And but don't have but me. Let's be cognizant of what we're facing here, right? The human mind is, like, neurologically speaking, the human mind is in so many different spaces, so many times, right? If we want to talk about Marvel, we'll talk about the multiverse. Let's talk about the multiverse, right? So our brains are not connected to one another unless there is a communication that is so clear and ingrained that we can say, you know what, I remember, either it was from a childhood where a parent might have said something to you where you gravitated to it since you were 8 to 28. And if I say the same thing, right, which ones are you going to gravitate more to? The ones that's familiar to you, right? Since you was growing up, like, hey, if you don't wash those dishes, you're grounded. Or, hey, if you don't get your butt up and go to school, you won't get straight A's, or you won't get the type of attendance that you want. It's just, we have to communicate in a way that it will touch one another in a safe space, also a sensitive space, so we can be in the same, type of trajectory, if you say.
So why do you gravitate toward that message of being an exceptional human being? Why not just go all nerd, go all geek, dive into the Marvel universe and be like, I'm just going to cosplay for a living, which I've done.
And look,
you can do
that's
that.
awesome.
It's a choice.
You can do that. You can do that all day long, Laura. But essentially you get burned as you're getting older, right? And you're learning from these experiences, and you're trying to connect that tissue. Because why is it that I'm saying something to you, but I said it to maybe somebody that was close to you? That person that's close to you come and tell you, it's going to be in a different message, right? Because if you communicate messages in threes, it always ends up in a way where you're like, that's not what I was saying, and that's not what I meant to say. That's not how I
like that
communicate.
game telephone, right? Like,
Yes.
you go around the room, and by the time you get back to the first word, they're like, that's not even what I said.
You're like, what? You're like, what? When did I go into space? I never said that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a direct communication. Like, us three sitting here talking, we're vibing because we're on the same page. But if I was just talking to Dr. Jacqueline, and then Dr. Jacqueline came back to you, and then you came back to me, yeah, like the game of telephone, it's just gonna keep going around and around and around until we sit down and we mediate it.
Well, that's why I was asking. I was like, could you give us a copy paste version? Because I know it's going to get lost in translation. So if we can try to distill at least the core pieces for us, then we can go, oh, okay, I can understand 3 words or 1 sentence, but I'm not going to remember everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. I love the core. Yeah, the core. Everything starts with the core. Yeah.
And then the funny thing is, it does always intentional is that it does blend into those 3 words every single time.
Every time. Yes.
Every
absolutely.
time. Because for me, it's so exciting. It tells me so much about who you are, how you show up in the world, what you value, before you ever tell us any of those things.
Oh man. You got the golden nuggets. Yeah, value too. Yeah, that's an essential word. Yeah. You're right.
So Dennis, can you tell us a story about how you got into this work?
Yeah. So I've always valued community. I feel like community is one of the
Mm.
things that's a lost art in today's society.
Ooh.
Um, so I've always wanted to I've always been like that since I was young. I always wanted to connect to tissue, right? Because it's like I may know somebody that might be directly related to you, and we never connect. But me and
Mm.
this person have been gelling for like 20 years. And I'm like, oh, I just talked to Laura Lake a couple days ago. And they're like, well, that's my cousin. Really? You get what I'm saying? It's just so many relatable ish situations in this world that we live in now. Sometimes
Mm.
it gets really lost. So I've been in the community business for quite some time, and I noticed that a lot of times people are practicing either the same morals or values, but sometimes it gets lost in translation where they just
Mhm.
don't know how to either come out and tell a person like, listen, I believe in this, and that same person might say, oh, I believe in that too, or they might think that person might make fun of them, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be, politically correct or be the cool person,
Yeah.
right? But we wasn't put on this earth to be cool. We were put on this earth so we can all connect and make a difference in where we can make a difference.
Mm.
So that's why I took on this project. I've created community apps where, it's connecting, neighbors, it's connecting same mind alike people, likely mind thinking people.
Mm.
It's connecting, authors, it's connecting even the elderlies with their grandchildren or their children, just so they can see like, listen, man, this is a human being. Just because they might be a few years older than you doesn't mean they haven't lived the same life that you have lived, right?
Mm.
And I, for one, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was a rebellious kid, When when the eldest one, when the elder one was trying to warn you, you don't listen till you got your
Yeah.
fingers burned on the stove, and you're like, oh,
You gotta learn
Yes.
wait a minute.
it. Mm.
So yeah, and I feel like
Literally.
that. Yeah. Once you get into trouble, that's when you're like, oh man, I should have listened, but you was right.
Start paying
You know,
attention.
yeah, pay attention exactly. And so, and sometimes not all the same. Some people don't have your best interests at heart, but how easy is it to find out who does and connect with, and then how hard is it to let the other ones go that don't have your best interests at heart?
Oh, that. Can we dive in on that for a moment? Tell
Yeah,
us
can you
more.
really start to hear what people's true, honest filters of their reality are once you start seeing them where they're different than you? And when you're trying to build a community, it's hard when people have differences and they expect other people to conform to them instead of them changing their filter or adjusting. So
That
tell us
part.
more.
Mhm.
Yeah. I for one, I feel like yes, once you start to see people's true colors, right? Adaptation is a great thing to do, right? Listen to their story, listen to their background, listen to their pain points, what they went through, if they've been hurt before, right? Can you identify as a person and say, listen, I've been there, and
Mm.
I know somebody that's been there, or even if you've never been there, is there sympathy? Are you
Mhm.
gonna have empathy towards this person and be like empathy, sorry, towards this person, and kind of get to know that person and know that they're either a being who they are, which is the straightforward part, which is they will tell you, don't jump in that street, you're gonna get hit by a car, or would they be, or
Mm.
would they be the ones to be reluctant to be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything, but once you get hit by that car, I'm gonna be the one that lay down on the ground and act like I told you. I told
Mm.
them not to get. There's so many different versions of us in this world,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but if we don't find out before it's too late, that's the part that hurts, not
Mm.
just us, but the generation that come after us. Like trauma.
Mm.
Yeah, trauma is a real thing from the generation before us because there might have been issues that was never dealt with. There might have been conversations that was never dealt with. It could have been, it might have been procrastination within that generation that just follows you and you don't even know it.
Yeah.
You walk in this earth blaming everybody else, but not deep diving into yourself and seeing why you're not taking things at least seriously, or you're going into a place where that will make you grow, right? Development is a major thing
Yeah.
in today's society.
How do you deal with that when you're trying to bring people with different cultures, different backgrounds, different filters on their reality together in community? You're trying to make it cohesive and you're collaborative, right? But you can't
Yes.
make other people collaborative, especially if they have like generational trauma passed down and they don't even know that their reality is coded in pain and unresolved wounding. So what kind of techniques or what have you seen that has been difficult that you've been able to maneuver around to bring people together?
Well, I've been told I'm a very patient man. I don't know how true that is, but I guess I was born with it, you know, and you know, I'm a spiritual man, you know, I give credit to God in so many ways because sometimes I don't even know if I'm in my own body when I'm dealing with people that's difficult. I really don't, you know. I've seen other people get very frustrated with people that they try to communicate a simple message to, and that person is making it as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, Dr. Jacqueline, I believe patience and listening. You don't
Mm,
have to say anything. Sometimes you don't have to speak. Them speaking is enough for you to get the information you need about that person because they just want somebody to listen to them
yep.
most of the time. Yeah.
Very well said.
And I play and I don't like to play therapist, but if I have to, I find a song that I can hum, but I can repeat what you said, but for me not for me not to engage with you in a banter or in an argument, yes, sometimes it's very difficult. Just gotta shut your mouth, listen, and that golden nugget will be something they said that you can piggyback on that can resonate. You know, they could just say, I don't get along. I haven't seen my mom in 15 years. You stop them right there. Why?
Yeah.
Let them dive into that. You can
Yeah.
see the emotions start to build up like a roller coaster. At that
Mm,
point, you either hold the person's hand if they like to be touched. If they don't, you hug yourself and sympathize with them, right? And at times, it just gets real. It gets real when you see a grown person crying, and not that that's a bad thing. We all cry, right? We came from the womb crying, and you know we're gonna go crying. But to hear a person really deep dive into themselves, where people that don't even want to go see therapists, but they will talk to you because they feel like your genuineness, your light, or your empathy is just
mm.
there for them. It's something different. It's something unreal.
That's the compassionate part. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
that's the kind of feedback that I get all the time, even when we're live. It doesn't have
Mm,
to be private sessions. It's like, how hard is it to be a human being that wants to hear about other people and cares about other people's stories? People fascinate me
yeah.
because every time I get to talk about or talk with you about your own story or somebody else's story, I'm like, every single perception from somebody else helps me understand myself. So
Absolutely.
why wouldn't I want to seek out all the fun stories, good, bad, ugly, like all the stuff and things from
Exactly.
everyone?
Exactly.
Mm,
And then I'm like, wow, we really are at our core the same.
Right.
yeah.
Just we express it differently.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
So
it's really cool.
that's something that I think needs to be shifted in our perspectives and our filters as a society. I think a lot of people look at therapists and doctors because you have a degree and you've studied all this, that you got all your ducks in a row, that you got it all together. No, we
Mhm.
don't. We are literally people. We are struggling. And I personally have had to use all my techniques on myself, and it's still hard. And
Yeah.
so if the average person realizes everybody's, if you are just a loving and kind person, you're just an underpaid therapist. That's okay.
That's
If you
okay.
could be a
Yeah.
good person and listen and have compassion.
It's very true. And one of the things that I say amongst friends, right? And I feel like I'm amongst friends now because we've been sharing for about 19 minutes. But this is one of the things I say, and Dr. Jacqueline, don't kill me. But I said, you know who I would love to have a conversation with? Your therapist.
Mm,
Mm, yes.
Imagine, and just imagine how much those people that are selfless sit there listening to your problem, how much they gotta offload themselves.
yeah.
People don't think that. So that's a great point. Like, people don't think, oh, just because you got all these degrees, oh, you're supposed to be. No, they're still human at the end of the day. And I'm gonna steal your word, Laura, to the core. Like, they gotta offload that to go to the next person, because if not, oh my gosh, can you imagine how much stuff they're holding in? They can't share with their families or can't share with this person. It's just so much, you
Yeah.
know?
Yesterday, we talked a lot about journaling for this specific situation. It's like, I can't always talk to my husband or my friends or my business partner. It's like, or maybe I can't even afford a therapist. So where can I process things?
Right.
Some people will write books and then publish the books, and some people will write a diary and just keep it for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And something that I found in my years of working with clients, and of course using all those wonderful techniques on myself, is that we project everything.
Ooh,
Everything.
oh my gosh.
Good and bad. And so
Man,
people who are writing books, people who are doing speaking, people who are doing podcasting, they're the creators, right? And they're the ones putting things out there in the world. And they've just worked on figuring out that, hey, I'm no better. I need to use techniques like grounding and yoga and meditation and journaling, and my divine spirit needs to come through me because my human version isn't good enough to do this humaning anymore. And so then they end up putting things out there that help other people, but it's just a projection of what they've had to transform themselves, because we need to, like you were saying, change our trauma, change our filters so we can build community. And so what I've seen is a lot of people change their bad projections that are unhelpful into something that's good. So I love what you're doing.
So you're talking about being counterproductive, and projection is oh my gosh, we live in a world where projection is a real thing, because you could talk to somebody about a behavior that you didn't like, and they will, instead of just taking that in and saying, you know what, you're right, they will quickly turn on you or talk to, like, especially a family member. They'll talk to you about something you did when you was like 2 years old. You're like, wait a minute. That's not what we're talking about. But yes, you're absolutely right. If you can channel that into something positive, if every single one of us can be accountable, we can hold accountability in the best way possible and not take it as self-defense. We'll be in a better place as a nation, as a world, period. Yeah.
When I used to get feedback in high school, any kind of feedback, but like not peer feedback, the teacher or some sort of adult, and they'd be like, I see that this is happening, and here's your work here, and this is what you did wrong. I would just sit there and bawl my eyes out because it felt like they were saying that I was wrong, that I was unworthy, that I couldn't cut it, that I wasn't enough, all those stories.
Yeah.
Now I do have that understanding, just as you had mentioned, Dennis, that when people say it's a behavior that I'm doing that they don't like, it's the behavior, and they make sure that it's focused on the behavior, then I have learned to have that separation, that I can change the behavior. The behavior is not me.
Right.
The behavior is an expression of me, and they don't like that expression. Like, oh, okay. Now I can have some space to choose what I want to do and how I want to express myself. Huge difference.
That's a great
So you're
perspective.
talking about the delivery in the correction too, if you're trying
That's part of it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Because even if they did touch on the behavior before, like, I just didn't have that understanding that it could be separate. I just thought that it was all me. Because if there was any mention of Laura, you did X, Y, Z, then it was automatically about me. I was like, nah, and then the tears, and then ugly.
Can I ask a quick question? Do you feel like do you feel like that has anything to do with like self-worth or self-worth?
Oh, Dennis, you have no idea. Yeah.
Yes.
I've spent the last 2 years diving deeply into that topic because of my history with it. I learned that my worth was within the confidence of my skills, of who I could be for other people and do for other people and accomplish. I did not learn that my worth was me just naturally as a human being.
I think you should drop the mic right now, Laura, because
Right. Boom.
yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, my parents didn't know either, so how could they
Right.
teach me?
Exactly.
They
That
just
part.
taught me what they knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a big learning thing. And that's why we're talking about people's stories. Because now we're seeing your worth. Dennis, you were talking about community being so important and your message being about being an exceptional human being. We can't be an exceptional human being without that community.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to shift just a little. Can you tell us what community means to you? Because I've actually had that conversation a lot lately.
Yeah, so have I. So I'm just gonna tell you straight up. This is dependability. I feel people you can depend on.
Okay.
It's very essential and it's core. And it doesn't necessarily have to be family members, because family members can disappoint far beyond what a stranger or somebody else can do. But somebody that you can feel like you can depend on, that you can actually, if you can name several people you can leave your house key with, and when you're locked out, they're able to give you that key or show up, then yes, that's what you got. That's what you got community with. Being able to respectively say, hey, listen, I got a conference meeting I gotta go to, and my child needs a ride to the bus stop or needs to be picked up. And you have that person in your corner that say, I got you, don't even worry.
Yeah.
Being able to sit and have a conversation with a person and they don't make it about themselves or try to take over that conversation, because everybody has a voice, everybody has an opinion, everybody has an experience, everybody has a thought process that
Yeah.
it's closer to yours, and you're like, but my life and your life are different. You can talk to a girlfriend or a boyfriend and say, man, I got to get to work today. And that person haven't worked a day in their life, but they have to tell you everything about what they used to do when they did work. You're like, this ain't about you. This is about me. That's that community. That's that community you need. Like we alluded to, listening. Just being able to listen to people, and then make sure that you give them that time so they can express themselves. Right, the expression is everything.
So how is it that you help people become an exceptional human being, both for themselves and as a part of their community?
Just being able to learn their every mood, their every step, their thought process. It's just being able to just connect in a different way that they've never connected with anybody else. I've heard it. And listen, man, I don't know what you're here or how you came here, but I like talking to you. Can I keep talking to you? Absolutely. Here's my number. Call me whenever.
Yeah.
That's very good in the world that we live in, because everybody's not listening to everybody or having a conversation, you know.
Dennis, I want to reframe everything that we talked about through the lens of like, how do you help people? What skills do you have? What are you offering as a part of this message, this work?
As far as my skills of helping people, it's just making sure that we connect on a deeper level. I'm not a therapist, but I'm, like Dr. Jackman said, I'm an underpaid therapist, right? But
Yeah, that's right.
but what's important to you? Let's talk about what's important to you, right? And I'm not saying it's monetary. It doesn't have to be monetary. We live in a society where money has become everything to everybody, right? But let's talk about your mental health, right? I mean, I'm not perfect, right? I'm still struggling with that, where it's like, okay, well, are you attacking me? Oh no, I'm not attacking you. Oh, okay, we're just having a conversation, right? Let's cut out me screaming and you screaming. Let's say, hey, you take your turn and tell me everything you think about me.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Do you
I gotta
do
have
this?
the thicker skin.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you
I gotta
do
have
this?
the thicker skin.
Yes, the thicker skin.
Yeah.
Do you do this mostly through speaking?
I do it through fastest way. Yeah, speaking. Like I said, I got a community app, right? That's called Christian Hashtag, where I'm trying to promote it and get people on there as a community, as a positive community, right? I know we all know social media right now. If you get on there, there's like maybe like three platforms that might be positive, and then the rest is just like, okay, you ready
Yeah.
to you ready to blow your
What was it,
brains out, so to
what was
speak.
it called again?
Christian Hashtag.
Mm.
So it's just a positive community app where we're trying to bring nothing but positivity. If there's any negativity that comes on there, admins get reached out by the admin and talk to you about not posting certain things. Of course, all questions, anything that you are curious about, you can ask. Right? It's not offensive to ask the question, but it's offensive to go on the defense and attack and just
Right.
try to defame people.
I love that because
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm like super, super sensitive. So like all my senses are like heightened. The second I open up, usually a social media platform, I feel it. And it feels so bad, so chaotic, so negative. I have to put it away. Like I usually get on it for work and, to respond to, the important people. But things
Hmm.
like that, they're so needed in the world because so many platforms and spaces, people are just so negative that we're absorbing it in our body. I love that idea. You said
Yeah.
Christian hashtag?
Yes. So the regular Christian, and then the hashtag is spelled out HASHTAG. Um, it's something that I've been trying to get out there in the world for a while. We've had our challenges, but it's, for the most part, we're doing all right. The great thing about that platform is you can connect to all your existing social media, or you just even like text messaging. If you post something, you can. It's like it's like an email blast. You can just
Yeah.
whatever that you have, WhatsApp, text message, Instagram, Facebook. You can also post on there. It's called Share Your Truth, and it's
Love it.
also have podcast platforms where, and then also you can also just have like journaling. We talked about journaling. You can do journaling on there as well. Just write, whatever, however you feel. In the world. So yeah, that's one of the ways that it's trying to connect, right? Because years ago it came to me like, especially when we had this shooting over in Uvalde, Texas. It was just
Mm.
like there's a lot of people. It was COVID-19. There was a lot of people that was needing an outlet. They couldn't go out in society. They couldn't go to therapist office. They couldn't do all of these things, but they were looking for ways to connect with people. How easy could it be if you could just write somebody on this platform and that person can take you on as a mentor, or if you have questions, a mentee, sorry, if you have questions or sort like doubts with anything. It just doesn't have to be about the Bible. It just, if you have doubts, if you have struggles that you don't know how to get out of it, and you can actually connect with somebody that can actually tell you, listen, I've been there. I've
Right.
been there. Losing jobs, losing a loved one. I've been there, but there's a brighter light on the other side if you continuously keep holding on to, your faith or your hope or your truth or your strength. A lot of people don't know strength is another religion. Strength is a religion for real.
You should make a bumper sticker from that. Absolutely.
if you if you are strong, like some of us, I'm not gonna say I never say people are weak,
Mm.
but some of us are born with strength unknown to this world. Like if you are able to deal with certain circumstances that somebody else might have dealt with and they felt like that it was too much, that's your strength being stronger than somebody else. That's why we need to connect with other people, because
Yeah.
people don't know how to deal with certain things and certain situations. And you know we love to name things nowadays, depression,
Mm.
suicide, we
Yeah.
love it, we love it, but a lot of times we don't talk about the strength in it as well. People
Yeah.
that
So Dennis,
that come
how
out.
do we connect with you? What are your favorite ways to communicate, and how do we connect with you?
Absolutely. I love to communicate through text message, phone calls, but essentially, I love, like, if you want to reach out to me, it's at Christian hashtag at gmail.com. Or you can also reach out to me on Christian hashtag on IG. Um, or just download our app, Christian hashtag on iOS. And the beauty of it is every time we get new followers, we get an instant message, and then we respond right to that person, welcoming them to the community, asking them, if there's anything that we can assist with, and then, just wish them the best of luck, and they can always reach out to us that way.
Nice. We have about 30 seconds left, and I like to hold space at the end of an interview just in case there's something on your mind or in your heart that you like to share. So what would you love to leave people with, Dennis?
I would love to tell people to hold on and be strong. I would love to tell people, I know times are uncertain, right? Especially these days, right? For all my folks in the government, all my folks work with the government agencies, for all my people in the protests, and for all my people that's going through times of unclarity or uncertainty, I'm just telling you, just hold on, keep the strength. And remember, there's always a sunny day after it rains. Always. It don't just keep raining and raining and raining. You see a rainbow. And always look up. There's nothing wrong with looking up, because there's something beyond our understanding above us.
I love that. I love how you spread your light.
Yeah.
It comes on your words. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Aww.
Years of practice.
Being patient and listening, right?
Yes.
So Dennis, I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. I do invite you to stay for the next few minutes, because I like to use the last few minutes, depending on how much time we always have left, to create some teasers for the interview for social media.
Okay.
And the way that I like to do that is I tend to go around and ask, what is something that stood out to you? So I'm actually going to start with Dr. Jacqueline. What is something that stood out to you during our conversation with Dennis today?
Well, something that really stood out to me was how you were talking about bringing people together, but then we have that contrast between different filters, like our generational traumas and what we're holding on to, right? And it's hard to bring those people together. So the fact that that's so important, I actually think that something else that stood out to me that goes with this is you were talking about strength. Like it's its whole thing by itself. Like it could be, it's this whole religion. The people that are strongest are the ones that do that. They stand in the middle of the crowd. People are kicking and screaming and yelling and projecting, and they're just calm and they're strong and they love everybody. And you're spreading that throughout the world. So that's something that stood out to me.
It's amazing. Thank you.
What about you, Dennis? What's something that stood out to you?
What stood out to me is when we talked about core. Core was going to be something that I was going to touch on, but then instantly we talked about the core. And once you say that, the core holds everything intact, right? There is no head without a neck. There is no neck without a shoulder. There's no shoulder without arms. There's nothing without the body, which is where the core is resting, right? You got leg, knees, and toes. So that core, that hit me right there. And I think we talked about core after that, right? And I stole some of your words, Laura. I was like, core, yeah, I threw it in there. So I feel like that's awesome. And then the Dr. Jacqueline also touched on mental health, because I know that's her field. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Absolutely, because that's essentially something that I think we can close the gap on. But if we just have people that cooperate the right way, not saying we got to force them, but just use common sense. I think common sense is missing in this world nowadays too. So yeah, I think you guys had some really golden nuggets, man. At the moment, I mean, it was a time I just wanted to kind of just be quiet and listen to y'all just talk all day.
I know what you brought.
So there were two main things that stood out to me, and one, I'm going to create a teaser here. Okay, you gave us two very clear scenarios for understanding who we can depend on. One involving our house and another one involving our kids. So I encourage you to go back and listen to the interview to figure out what those scenarios were. Who's dependable, who's not. And then I loved that we highlighted that even the experts in their own fields need help. We are not perfect individuals. Okay, I talk about emotions. That does not mean that I never have issues with emotions. Dr. Jacqueline talks about mental health. That does not mean that she never has issues with mental health. And you talked about community and communication and being bold. That does not mean that you also don't have issues in there. But it's because we have learned and we have dedicated time, energy, experience that now we can notice faster and have the tools to make a difference sooner.
Man of that.
Yeah.
Man of that. Yes.
We're always doing the best we can with what we have.
Exactly. And that just brings in that idea of not judging somebody, like the fitness expert who's overweight. Life happens.
Life happens.
Shift, right?
Yeah.
Not having that judgment first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny because I just recently came across that and I said the same exact thing. I was like, and even then, you can't be the person that say anything because at least they got out and did something about it. They're doing something.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Dennis, for playing with us with a little bit of extra here. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you guys so
Thank
much
you
for this
so
time.
much.
I've learned so much. Just a little quick plug. I've also got my literature coming out. It's a novel. It's called The Most Just, and that falls into the same category as people making mistakes and then getting redemption, right? Meeting other people that went through the same thing. So it's right now it's being published and edited and all that, but hopefully you'll be out in the market soon.
Thanks, Dennis.
Absolutely.
We'll see you later.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Great meeting you.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Now we do have our next guest in the background. Donna, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Thank you. Again, I always like to ask. You never know. You're like, hold on, I need one more minute. Fix the hair. It's all good. Donna, welcome to the stage. Hello.
Hello.
So I like to start off interviews really different because I don't want your elevator pitch. I want Donna. I want to know who you are. So I ask a question just to kind of make your brain go, what? And then we learn a lot about who you are. But it's really playful, no worries. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Thought leader. Compassionate. Contributing.
Ooh, I love those words. Contributing. Okay. My only other question that I have pre-recorded is how do those 3 words, thought leader, compassionate, and contributing, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
As a master leadership empowerment coach who is successful in being an interventionist related to transformation, those words are critical to the people that I serve.
Yeah. Oh, you were done. I thought there was a story there.
Yeah.
I mean, there definitely is a story there.
I felt like there was more behind it.
Yeah. Tell us the story,
Donna.
Donna.
Knowledge. Let us hear it.
People who are looking for support with a coach are not only looking for change in terms of perhaps how they show up or moving into a new position in their world of work, but they're looking for understanding. They're looking for cheerleaders. They're perhaps having an opportunity to work one-on-one with someone for the very first time in their life. You know, when we are students in school, we might think that the most luxurious experience we could possibly have in this entire world is having a tutor, someone who would work with you one-on-one at your pace, in your learning style, in order for you to achieve the maximum of success.
Right.
And so what if you attracted that kind of person to you and hired yourself a coach?
Mm-hmm. You're talking about finding things that are hidden within them, that they're struggling. A lot of that times they're looking for something more. They know they're more. They just can't find it. And so you as a coach, you dig it, you find it out of them, because you can probably see it when you start talking to them, and then you dig it out of them, and then you're supporting them during the journey, because transformation is very hard.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even if they have a sense that they have this talent or this knowing or this skill of doing something, perhaps it's never been acknowledged, or perhaps it's been downplayed, or perhaps it needs building up. We can all see a foundation to a house, but until the framework starts to go up, we don't know where the rooms are, and we don't know where the special features are.
Right.
I would have, because I did architecture for 15 years, so I would have designed the space. And because I have that understanding, I can look at a site or I can look at a floor plan, and I've already got it in my head. I can walk through it.
Right. But you're talking about, Donna, navigating the self, which is the most complex thing in the entire universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's amazing. I get lost in it.
My background in psychology, coupled with my master track training in neurolinguistics, work super well to give me the tools that I need in order to be able to listen in a space beyond listening, to observe in a space beyond seeing. I am so grateful for the opportunities that I had to spend time learning in this capacity, so that I would be able to pass that along to the clients that I serve.
I've noticed that your language is very clear, concise, and what was the other adjective that I had? Calculated. There we go. Clear, concise, and calculated. Which on interviews like this is really rare. So I do want to celebrate you for that.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Neurolinguistics all by itself is married to language.
Yes.
And our language is a representation of how we function in our world.
What I hear you saying is, though you've been trained in neurolinguistics, you can see and hear something that's hidden. When we use language, this is something that I've taken that's complex and probably very big, and I've shrunken it down to put words to it, and then I've created a cohesive narrative to deliver it, right? But there's so much more going on in the human psyche and in our transformation. And to me, it sounds like you've developed over the years of your expertise, right? Because it takes practice to develop these skills. And I do believe everybody has the potential, but not everybody puts in the work. And you did, to be able to see and hear way more than what they're saying. Is that right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. And to bring that to light in a positive way. It's never the space that I create. I want it to be safe and comfortable and confidential and protected, so that if we were like a seed under the ground, receiving warmth and moisture in order to be able to establish roots, so that when we emerge from the soil, we have the possibility of being strong.
Mm.
Ooh, even your voice just makes me kind of go, ah.
I bet for a lot of leaders, it's really very
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with authors who want to record their own books, so that I can coach them into being able to manifest the message that they want through their own voice.
That's beautiful.
I do want to hit on that. I want to go back just for a moment. You said leadership empowerment coach. The compassion and the thoughtfulness and the contribution that it takes to get to the place of writing. Why did you get into leadership and empowerment?
I find that there are individuals who have been, A students, excellent along the way, their education experience has been where they've been virtually ignored. Oh, you get A's, go away, you're fine. You'll succeed. I need to spend time with the other people, the other students. I need to work on things that others need more help with, and you're going to make it on your own, right? But I come from a place that says everyone needs nurturing. They need nurturing in their own way, whether that's nurturing their mind or whether that's nurturing their body, their beliefs, their even their capacity to believe in themselves. And so when I can add to the possibility that nurturing a belief like I'm worth it. It's okay for me to believe that I could get better. Even though everybody thinks that I'm already at my best, I know that there are some things that I could still do better.
You're talking about the golden child who's ignored.
Yes.
So they don't get the support they need.
Yes.
Yep.
So what if there was somebody who could work with the high flyers and say, it's okay to fly higher.
I would have liked to have heard that.
Yeah.
Yes.
No matter who you were, I think we all would have liked to have heard that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And to be provided that type of support. Because a lot of times, not only are they ignored because they're like, oh, that's fine, they can figure it out. But when they're struggling, there's nobody there because they're usually the person people come to.
Yeah, and to add another piece into this, often I will meet up with individuals who would label themselves as introverts, and we don't necessarily have to have been the brightest in the class to claim the label introvert. And so, what if your introvert self wanted to come out to play just a little more?
Very nicely said. Yeah. That's the part that people don't see that you see.
Yes.
Right? But that's the piece that needs to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what if your introvert self was 10% more confident? How would that change things? What might be possible?
I like you. Because you will ask good questions. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even just having people pause for a moment instead of going into those automatic habits or those automatic thoughts, questioning, is this actually how I feel? Is this actually something that I wanted to do? Is this actually a path that I wanted to take? And we think just very quickly, yeah, it's something I chose. And as soon as it's beyond that micro moment, most of the time we realize, no, it's somebody else's thought. It's somebody else's direction, somebody else's experience or expectation of us.
You raise a really good point, Laura, because sometimes as an introvert, I just want to be honored and respected for being an introvert. And I need to find a confident way in which to ask for my space.
Yeah. I have a habit of collecting introverts because introverts are my favorite people. I'm obviously not. I'm an extrovert. But I love introverts because they do so much internal processing of information naturally on their own in their head that I know that I can confidently walk up to an introvert who's leaning against the wall somewhere at a networking event, observing what they do best. And I can dive straight in with a deep question and they don't even hesitate. They're like, ooh, somebody finally willing to have the type of conversation that I want to have without all the fluff, without all the extra that makes me uncomfortable. And that's why I love them.
Some of the best conversations too, because they're so real, so deep.
So good.
Now, I would be disappointed to making assumptions because somebody's hanging back at a party and not participating. I don't want to hang labels on people as being extroverts or introverts, but we all, no matter which category or which label we want to park ourselves under, I feel that we all deserve the opportunity to make improvement or to make change or to shift, pivot, whatever the case may be. If we're finding ourselves saying things like, I wish, and adding the piece about what could be different, what action are you taking to make that different?
Yeah.
Or are you content to bellyache? Like, everybody's got a contentment space, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That's true. Do you ever work with extroverts? I'm wondering if you would, what you would pull out of them. Those are always one of the fun ones, I think.
We need extroverts. And we need people who are sometimes prepared to say things that others might not say. Perhaps I picture an extrovert perhaps having the power of being vociferous, of being able to voice themselves in a boisterous manner. But then my question would be, is that getting you what you want?
Right.
Yeah.
For some, the answer might be yes. For others, the answer might be no.
Well, I would think what would be interesting is, I wouldn't be surprised if they would have an immediate, well, yes. It's like they move faster and they're quicker at getting the answer, but then it's like, well, hold on. There's more behind there that you're not saying, right? So what I would think would naturally happen as you're working with somebody who's an extrovert is their introvert would probably start to peek through. Does that happen?
Everyone is different.
Yes.
Everyone is different. And leadership shows up in many different forms. And some are experts at leaders because they are able to express themselves in a tone of voice that exerts command, and that's that. There's no gray, there's just black and white. So it's important to look beneath the label, whatever it is, because the label is only one tiny piece. It's how you are in relation to how you are aligning with what you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the stereotypical extrovert, people might think that we're loud, that we're out there, that we're, taking up space all the time. Yet I actually know very few extroverts like that. We have that capacity, but that doesn't mean that that's our everyday. A lot of extroverts, and what it really just means is, how do I recharge? How do I give myself energy again? I know that when I work from home and I don't know anybody in town yet, not a whole lot, I get quite depressed. And so I need to be around people to help me feel good, which is why I love these interviews so much.
Yeah.
But I also know that my introvert friends, if we go to too many networking events or we go for too many walks or whatever it happens to be, that they need time to be by themselves. But yet we both like the other. It's
Right.
not about being shy or being loud. It's about, what do we need as human beings?
Right. Knowing yourself.
Because I know some of the best speakers in the world are introverts.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I have an introvert self that enjoys spending time with my muse writing.
Yep.
I have an extrovert self that enjoys the company of others, doing committee work, volunteer work, that kind of thing. So we talk about a balanced work life or work-life balance. Well, we all have different ways of finding where our balance bar sits. And I like you, Laura, if I sat in my introvert self all day long for days on end, it would drive me crazy. I would be, let me out of my prison.
I get like that after a day, though.
Yeah. So by allowing my introvert and my extrovert to balance, it puts me in a much more comfortable, relaxed, and productive space.
Let's kind of further the analogy a little bit. We had brought up writing earlier, and I knew it would connect, which is why I was like, let's talk about this for a moment first. How do you find that these conversations, and especially the personal growth within an introvert, how do you find they can dive deeper into writing because of that experience, because of that understanding of themselves?
In the first place, Laura, I'm not sure that they do.
Oh, okay.
I was moderator of the Puerto Vallarta Writers Group for several years, and I had opportunities to engage with writers from all over the world in all manner of genres. I would say that writing, first and foremost, requires some commitment. If what you want to do is produce a 500-page novel, it's not going to happen overnight. I once read a book that had a piece written into the front of it where the author said, "It took me 8 years to write this piece of fiction." Writing takes commitment. And whether that commitment is 15 minutes a day or whether that commitment is 1,000 words a day, it requires commitment. Whether you're introvert or whether you're extrovert matters not. Your university professor is still wanting that essay handed in by 9 a.m. Friday morning.
The memories.
Your boss wants your proposal on his desk tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and he doesn't care whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. Deal with it and accept it, get it done.
Right.
Well, it reminds me of 2 times in my life. At first, when you said, it's due at 9 a.m. on Monday, I thought of one project in university. We had a group of engineering students had to write a 25-page paper as a group. And I remember dreading it, even though it was a group project. But yet, later, when I was working in an architectural office, I had to write a 10-page research paper and present that to like lawyers, the designer, the client, the contractor, like all the stuff and things. And I was excited about that one. Like, the difference between those two. Yeah.
So the commitment to the project.
Yeah.
And it is what is enabling. So the introversion and the extroversion becomes irrelevant.
Yep.
It's your commitment. It's, what are you deriving from having this experience? So if you enter it with a mindset that says, this is fun. Time passes when you're having fun, and before hey, it's midnight, I got to get to bed. I have to be up at 7 in the morning.
Yeah. Right. It's different when you're committing to your passion.
Yeah.
Than something that's extrinsically motivated, putting pressure on you, telling you have to do it.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what we were talking about earlier with knowing yourself. Whether you're an introvert or extrovert, it doesn't matter. Knowing you, and then eventually you uncover your passions.
Yes. And I speaking to passion, I'm not sure that we all necessarily enter into a level of passion to the point of I will exclude everything else in my universe and just devote myself to this in this moment.
Right.
Yes, that's okay as far as eliminating distractions and so on. But I'm not sure that I need to be passionate or super passionate about something in order to take it on. I might just find that it's of value, that I'm having an opportunity to share my gift, to make a contribution.
To me, when you're talking about that, I hear purpose.
Yes. Yeah.
That could be part of it, yeah.
If you were to put it into maybe one liner so everybody can really grasp what your purpose is, Donna, what would you say it is?
My purpose is to be a challenger, and I can maybe capture that most from a quote from my book, Lessons I Learned from the Tortoise.
Lessons you learned from what?
Lessons I Learned from the Tortoise.
Ooh.
The book contains 22 lessons that Aesop didn't write when he wrote his fable about the tortoise and the hare. My quote goes like this: challengers inspire us to take giant steps long before we might ever become giants.
Whoa.
I feel it's my purpose, my mission, to be the challenger for my clients, to challenge them to achieve higher, reach further, go deeper, where whatever it is that they are seeking to have or seeking to explore.
Right. And I love it with that balance at the beginning. You had said, thought leader, compassionate, and contributing, that compassionate piece, because you can't effectively challenge somebody and assist and support them through that if you don't bring compassion with that. Otherwise, you're just putting a lot of pressure on them. And you can only handle so much pressure before you cave. So I love how you connect those two.
Thank you so very much. We are where we are by circumstance, by birth, by environment, by opportunity. We haven't always been able to shape everything about where we've landed all along the way. But what if we had the opportunity to shape just a little more?
Right.
Now I'm picturing like the clay, and we're just all molding ourselves.
Yeah.
It's because we accidentally dropped it on the floor, it doesn't mean that we can't reshape it again.
That's true.
Yeah. I always have this picture of a rock falling down a mountain and being tumbled in a river and stuff, and how rocks don't always necessarily grow into a different shape. They are chipped away into a new shape. The only way that they grow is when they are put under pressure and things are added to it.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Right? It's like, ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And sometimes the lichens that grow upon it give it texture and opportunity to support further growth.
Right.
I was in a car accident a number of years ago that left me without being able to participate effectively in my own social life or my own professional life for a period of something like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to find a way to reinvent myself, taking what I had previously learned and exploring the possibility of where I might be able to park my feet firmly under me in order to grow. A woman invited me to write an article for a local business magazine. And I hadn't written anything particularly since I had done my master's degree. My thesis had been 169 pages, and my committee had me change 3 sentences on 1 page. So, could I write in my past life? Yes. Could I write in my new life? Wasn't sure. It took 3 weeks for me to put together 1,000 words that I thought might be suitable for publication. My husband had been nurturing, encouraging. He finally said, just send it.
He was your challenge.
And so I did. And within 5 minutes, she sent back a reply that said, in 1 word, perfect. That was a huge, huge response as far as I was concerned, because it not only meant that what I had done had pleased her, but it was igniting a little tiny flicker of flame, said, what if I wanted to do that again?
Mhm.
Would I be able to reach the bar? I ended up writing 16 articles for her over the course of several years. I tell the story because sometimes one person inviting you to participate in an opportunity, to engage in something, to take something on, even to hire a coach, might mean the difference as to whether you go forward or take a U-turn or stop.
Very well said.
That's very true.
So what if we all took it upon ourselves to just to be aware that one compliment you give today could make someone's day, change their week, change the course of their life.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely. Words are powerful.
Yeah. We were talking about teachers yesterday and how sometimes they don't always say the nicest things. And we will adjust our habits and our actions for decades afterwards because of one thing that one teacher said when we were kids. And yet to have our friends, our bosses, our coworkers go, you can do this. Just hit send, as Donna's husband said. Just send it. And then to have the positive feedback from somebody else, you're like, why did it take me 20 years to even try again?
We're shaped by the feedback that we receive.
Yeah.
We either accept it and incorporate it,
Right.
or we deny it and brush it away.
Absolutely.
So
we should just have a whole bunch of those press OK to OK buttons in our head every time somebody gives us feedback. Do you accept? Yes. Are you sure? Yes.
Yeah. Reject.
Perfect. Perfect. Because if we're not giving consent for an evaluation response, why are we accepting what we didn't invite?
Absolutely. Which gives us even more reason to look in our past during our developmental years. What was said to me that I don't agree with? Okay, let's get rid of all of that stuff. Thank you for your assistance, for your, how it helped me in other areas, but it doesn't belong here anymore. And now what do I need to feed myself? Because then we do have the option.
Not everyone who gives criticism does so in a way that manifests the kind of change or response that we want. So I enjoy working with leaders in order to build and facilitate and repair communication that can help teams to grow. The communication that takes place, for instance, in a performance review is so vital to whether or not that person leaves the space with a growth mindset or with a defeatist mindset.
Yeah.
So what can I do to contribute to that leader being able to foster the kind of developmental growth that they're seeking in their team?
So what you're talking about is delivering criticism, which is like, it's constructive criticism. Who says it's bad, right? Like, it can be done in a loving and a caring way. If delivered appropriately, then you can shape someone in a positive way, even though you're giving feedback that could potentially have harmed if done in another way. I love that.
Correct. So I've developed systems for for people being able to better participate in their own evaluation process. I'm reminded of a paper that I wrote when I was doing my master's. I get my paper back, and of course there's this wonderful A on my paper. That's great, that's wonderful. But what was most important to me was the comment that she wrote in the margin right beside the first paragraph. And that comment said, "Donna, you should be a writer because you are one."
Oh,
I love that. One of the best. What you're talking about, teachers not saying the kindest things. What about when they say the best things?
yeah.
I love that.
I currently have six books under my belt and working on more.
Nice. So before we run out of time, I want to make sure that we know where to find you and your favorite way to communicate.
I enjoy communicating on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So you'll find me at linkedin.com/in/Donna Dahl, just as my name appears on the screen. My email is there, my contact information. I'm not sure I caught all of the answers to the question that you asked, Laura. We've been chatting here for a while. Is there something I missed?
No, that was everything. There's really just the three questions: the opener, the reason why the opener, and then of course, how do we find you? And then that it's just us chatting.
I'm also at donnapdahl.com. That's my website.
Okay, awesome. So I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. So thank you, Donna. I do invite you to stay for the next, 4 minutes at this point, as I like to use this space to put out some teasers for social media instead of like the whole 45 minutes. So Donna, I'm going to start with you this time. What is something that stood out to you during our conversation today?
What stood out for me was the warmth and the receptivity that you and Dr. Jacqueline have given to me to help me share the way that I like to work in the world.
It's really powerful. It's not just what you have to share, but how you want to share it.
Right.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I take the feedback.
Thank you.
What about you, Dr. Jacqueline? What is something that stood out to you?
Well, Donna, I have to say, I love your purpose, that you are a challenger, but it comes with compassion, because we're not going to get better as humans if we only do what we think we can do. We need people and ourselves, but it helps because people see things in us that we don't see in ourselves that challenge us, but they do it gracefully with love. And I think that you would be an amazing person to be able to challenge somebody to take a huge leap, but you really love them and support them through it because you see potential. You know, that's a huge gift. So I appreciate that. That's something that stuck out.
Thank you.
Aww. Okay, couple things that stood out to me. The biggest one is when your husband just told you to just send it.
Yeah.
You spent working on this article and your husband's like, just press the button. But I remember the first time I sent a mass email, how much effort it took to just press the button. I think it took me an hour to press enter. So it's a lot. I get it. Congratulating you for it. And I loved the name of your book because it makes us think. And the name of your book is Lessons I've Learned from the Tortoise, because it does reference the tortoise and the hare, and we have our own belief systems around it. But yet to frame it in a way of the lessons learning from the tortoise, and we know it's going to be beyond what the story is teaching us. So that intrigues me. And now I'm like, I want to know. What did Donna get from it? I appreciate that. So we have about a minute left. We didn't get to do this in the main interview, so I'll do it here. I like to end an interview by asking if there's anything on your mind or in your heart that you wanted to leave people with. So in about 60 seconds, what would you love to leave our audience with?
I would like to invite the audience to take advantage of the opportunity to either book some time with me or read my book. The reviews for Tortoise, as I refer to it, are so heartwarming. People have experienced life-changing things. One parent read the book to his 9-year-old son and left a review on Amazon.
I love that.
I would like to think that if people have stayed in this interview for this period of time and want to take more away without necessarily spending time personally with me, take a trip with Tortoise.
Yes. Plus, turtles are adorable. How can you not?
You can learn a lot from them.
Yeah. Aw. Well, I want to say how much I appreciate you being here, Donna, and for sharing with us and your energy as well. It was quite a difference that I needed after quite the messy morning breaking a glass right before I left this morning. I really, really appreciated this. Thank you so much.
Very grounding. Thank you.
Yeah.
Donna.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Have a nice day, Donna.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Jacqueline, you said you were going to take a break?
Yes. I'll be back in just a minute.
Sure. I'm going to put you in the backstage. And then I'm going to take this moment to hijack the stage and actually just tell you about some of the things that are upcoming in Blue Talks. Donna, if you're looking for the way out, you can just close the window. It's all good. I won't cry. For those of us that are still here with us, as a reminder, BLU stands for Business Life in the Universe. We have a book series. We do in-person talks at prestigious universities. We have networking every month, which is free. You don't even have to be a part of the Blue Talks community as a client. You can just come. We love you. That's what the Amplify Your Message event is for. Is you can come into the group. You can see these shows. You can see all the interviews. And then we get to know you as a speaker, as a writer, as a podcaster. And if you're not any of those, then you're still a change maker. We have messages that we want to share. The question is how are you choosing to share them? Maybe you're not sharing them publicly yet. Maybe you're just sharing them in your head or in a book, right? We talked about journaling yesterday, and that's okay too. But I do want to invite you to networking with me. I am your host for networking tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. You can reach out to me. You can join the Amplify Your Message Facebook page. I will be posting the link there after the show is over because obviously I can't do it while I'm live. And then you can meet some of these people that I've interviewed. You can meet some of my co-hosts. You can meet some of the other people who are also trying to write their book, who are also trying to get on stages, who are also trying to start a podcast, get podcast interviews, all kinds of things. And then it gets even better because I'm just going to pull up my calendar to make sure I get the dates correct. October 17th, 18th, and 19th. As I pull that up. Boop, 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 boop. Hold on. Am I correct? Oh, I am correct. October 17th, 18th, and 19th, we are having the Experts Boot Camp, which we will be teaching you how to land a TEDx. We will be teaching you how to find speaking gigs. We will be having celebrity guests to talk about podcasting and writing and PR and all kinds of things. So if you're interested in those, please connect with us. We do have our next guest in behind the scenes. Betsey, good to see you. Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. And I see that my co-host is back. So same thing, Dr. Jacqueline, give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Are you ready, Betsey? Just thumbs up if you are. Can you hear us? Maybe I will type back here. Ready, Betsey? It's all good. Are we good? Maybe. I don't know if she can hear us. You can still hear me, Dr. Jacqueline, can't you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to try pulling her up and we'll see what happens. Are you okay, Betsey? Oh, she just left.
I heard something, though, that was different. It sounded like we had her for a sec.
Oh, good. This is why I brought like my microphone. I bought my little tripod. Like, you never know what's going to happen. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. All the messages from the boot camp are coming in because they're doing training half an hour ago, I guess. They started.
Oh, yeah?
And I'm like, I obviously can't be there. I'm in the middle of hosting this all week. And then I was supposed to be in a Q&A with Dr. Joe because his new movie, Zero Limits, just came out. And one of our Blue Talks members, Lisa Schermerhorn, she's in the movie.
Oh,
with
wow.
Dr. Joe. Yeah. So I was like, I get to play with Dr. Joe again. And then they switched the time.
Oh, no.
To Monday. And I was like, no, I can't make it
connected.
anymore. Device is not connected. Okay, how about now, Betsey? Can you hear us? Are you ready to join us? Okay. Yes, I'm pulling you up now.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear us?
Okay. I can't hear you.
No. Oh, no.
Is
So-
that my end?
Maybe, probably.
No.
What we have done before is we've actually typed questions in the chat if we can't figure this out, and then we'll get Betsey to answer them. Do you have your speakers on? Sometimes at home, I used to have a light and then the light stopped working, so I just always thought, oh, we heard something.
That I hear something.
How about now?
Can you hear?
You hear me? You still hear me? Why don't I hear you?
No.
Oh.
Oh. Maybe I can call her. Could I call her and put her on speakerphone? Would that mess with the?
I checked all the technical stuff. It worked.
Okay. This is what I have this for.
My speakers are on. Yes.
Do you want me to call you?
Oh, I used to have a light.
Okay. So, Betsey.
Would you say something? Like
Can you hear us
hello,
now?
hi.
Hello. Hello.
Okay. Hold on.
Betsey
I
Sarris.
swear I checked all this.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab my headphones.
Okay.
Okay.
Grab my headphones.
I hear you.
Oh, you hear us now?
Now?
I hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
What happened? What did you change?
And I'm gonna
I
grab
had my AirPods on, so it would be clearer. And if my dogs start barking, I have all the shades down in the house so they can't look outside. So I didn't want them to ruin it, and I prepared, and of course it's a full moon. I was blaming it on the full moon.
It's got to get everything different ways.
So
Maybe
nice
that's
to
why
see
you
you. So
sleep
nice.
last night.
Maybe what?
I said maybe that's why I didn't sleep last night.
Oh,
I'll do it.
it's real. It is. It's real. I really believe in that.
Yep. If you
So-
find teachers, nurses, cops, firemen, it's,
Mhm.
you know, everything's crazy on full moon.
Yeah, I used to work at a high school, and I dreaded the full moons, and I dreaded Halloween too. That was also a thing. But the full moons were kids were crazy. Like,
Yeah, usually. Okay, so Betsey, we'll dive right in. We'll make sure it's all good. How I usually like to start an interview is just to shake things up because I don't want your elevator pitch. I want to get to know Betsey. So I have a research question that I ask everyone because it makes you think.
Okay.
But it's really playful. It's all good. So here's my question. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
caring,
Mm-hmm.
a great listener,
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Ooh, I like that one.
There's so many interesting words. Okay, so the only other question that I have pre-planned is how do those 3 words, caring, a great listener, and fun, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
Good question.
Thanks.
They play a key role because as a life coach, you have to care about people. You have to care about your clients. You have to be a good listener, and you have to interject humor in there whenever possible. Humor is we need humor in life, and it's at appropriate times, and when necessary, and when not to include humor. But what I've learned in life is even when we don't know the answers, if someone knows you care, it's huge.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just want to talk, and they want someone to listen to them. And so that's how those 3 interject into my coaching practice, what I do, and what I'm very passionate about.
So what do you focus on as a life coach?
I focus on what someone wants, what someone is coming to me for to begin with. What is their overarching goal or overarching issue or problem that they want to look at, and then I help them, kind of whittle it down to what the underlying issues for them and where they want to go with our session and or sessions. So it's never about me. It's about them.
Yeah. So you like to simplify their goals and their aspirations?
Simplify, but on a deep level where.
Oh yeah, get to the core. That was our word.
Yeah, you have to get to the core of any issue. That's key. That's actually very key. I'm glad you said that word. But sometimes simplifying something helps break it down and helps, like, okay, today I'm going to do this and I'm going to work on these things, and then tomorrow maybe I'll do this. We keep things simple, yet related to our goals, our hopes, our dreams, our wishes, then we're more likely to stay on track.
Absolutely. So what you do, to me, it sounds like you help them gain and keep clarity, because then the vision is clear and the path forward.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we're minimizing the overwhelm and figuring out what actually aligns, what's gonna take me forward, and what's just fluff that's hovering around.
Right. And we always have fluff, don't we? We always have fluff.
It's everywhere.
So
like my jacket's really soft.
Yeah, right. Take some water.
Oh,
Right.
You cannot breathe your own saliva. I keep trying to be a mermaid and it just doesn't work.
When I was a kid, when I was in the water, I was air. Yeah. So I get it. I feel you.
So Betsey, what got you interested in becoming a life coach?
Yeah.
Well, now I'm doing it. Excuse me.
You just wanted to connect. That's all.
Mermaids.
I always want to connect. I've always cared about people. I've always enjoyed talking to people since I was a kid. Kids came to me to talk, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I can't explain it.
Being a support.
Being a support system and helping. Yeah. Excuse me. Fast forward, I graduated from college, and I ended up getting into the judicial system. And I started out in juvenile detention right out of college. I had an internship with probation, so they liked me. I liked them because I had no idea what I was going to do with a sociology degree, and I just knew I liked it. And so my internship it worked in my favor, where I was hired, and I ended up working in detention. I learned so much from the kids because it was one-on-one often. And then from there, I worked in juvenile probation. And I was there total 22 years. And then I was the state liaison for our children's psychiatric hospital for the state. So I was the court liaison. I learned so much about mental health and just issues and parents and how things come together and don't come together at times. We ended up retiring in 2011, and then like about a year later, I applied for a job that was on my children's schedule. And so I worked at a high school. So I was able to, you go in at 7, you get out at 2, perfect, right? And I had all their holidays off, summers off, perfect. My kids were in middle school at the time, so it was important that I be home. So that I was able to do that. So what got me into coaching? I've been doing it for a very long time. It just wasn't called coaching.
Right,
And,
like that.
Listening, caring, at times holding kids accountable, which is at times hard because sometimes they were really trying, but sometimes they test, and
right.
You got to differentiate, right? But I always I loved with the kids and families, and most of them. Let's be fair, most of them, and I enjoyed it. People enjoyed working with me, and I had a lot of respect because I was there for so long. And going back to the courts, so I always had that self-confidence of my past and working with the courts and kids. And I moved down to the high school, and it was the same. You're working with children who, it was in an urban setting, and a lot of times kids just come to you to talk, and it was funny because I'd often say, well, you have a past to be here. Are you just pretending you want to talk? It was always a joke, like back and forth. And, I met some wonderful, wonderful kids. And working with, helping, speaking with, guiding, just being someone that someone can come and talk to when they don't feel like anyone else is listening. It gives me the shivers now just saying it.
I call those those are truth bumps from the higher plane. Yep. Yeah. Tell you you're on the right track.
I like that. I need to hear that right now too. So thank you. So that's how I got into coaching, and
beautiful.
And I decided to get my certification, and I've had a variety of certifications along the way. So here I am, and now I found Blue Talks, and I am starting to ramp up from here.
Nice. It was a calling. The original question is, why did you get into it? But you've technically always been in it, so you were kind of born into it. Sounds like
yes. It is. It is a passion and a purpose. And I took, there's something called a passion test, which
Yes.
by Janet Atwood. And I also was certified as a facilitator for the passion test. And I tell you, taking that initially changed my life. I had my 5 goals. I had my little sticker here, but I had 5 goals when I went through it, and I achieved 4 out of 5 within the year. Which, and some of those goals I thought I would never get to, and I did. And from here, it's just kind of catapulted myself with meeting all these people. If it weren't for taking the passion test 4 years ago, I don't think I would be here, to be honest with you. Really, truly.
In the road.
Yeah. And it's so important which fork you take, and I was just open, and I think that's half the key for anything, being open to change, and even when it's scary.
Yeah.
We
had Janet Atwood at either the last experts boot camp or the one before. I can't quite remember. And she was a delight. I was like, I had never heard. I don't hear of all the celebrities before they come to the experts boot camp or before we get to interview them. But I was like, I love when we meet new people, because you never know who is going to show up in your life, who's going to have something that you just need to dive in. And you're like, I'm not the same person I was 6 months ago.
Oh, right. It honestly, it's big.
Yeah.
I was so mesmerized by her on listening to her talk. It was an advertisement. She did an advertisement on Facebook, I guess, and I just caught it. I'm like, oh my gosh! And she was so funny and just so full of life. I'm like, I want to talk to her, And so then that's how I got involved with the passion test, and I also I like, one of my life goals was to publish a book or be part of something. And then I published a story within one of her books. It was called The Passion Principle, I believe it's called. So I was one of the 13 authors in that book. So that was one of the goals, and then I accomplished that one. So it's wonderful. So
what was it called again?
What? I'm sorry?
Again, the book?
If you don't mind me going off to get it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. No.
I'd love to see it.
I know. I was like, I'm a visual person. I need the book in front of my face.
I love how all of our guests today have been about compassion and listening, and they all just kind of lined up together.
There's always a pattern.
Right? Always. Awakening the amazing in you.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then there was Janet on the back with her ex-husband. They're very close still.
Yeah.
In fact, she's the godmother of his children. And then there's the authors there. But
beautiful.
Yeah, it was so exciting. And it was a story I had in me for many, many years. Because in college I had a double major for a while with journalism, and I had written a story for my journalism class, and the teacher loved it. She said, "You should publish this," and I was like, "Nah, it's very personal, But I was excited that she thought it was publishable. So 40 years later,
yes,
there it is in the book, pretty much. So. Yeah.
I love that. So you just told us that you also took journaling, which means that writing has been in your past before you even decided to become a writer. Mm-hmm. What got you into writing to begin with?
What? I'm sorry, what?
What got you into writing to begin with before, what made you decide to take journalism?
Because I was writing poetry as a kid all the time. I was always journaling. And now remember, I'm not sure how old both of you are, but so I was born in 1962. There was no internet. There was no. You read for fun, or you went outside to play, and then, it got dark and you went in. It was just a different world, and there was it's funny because sometimes when I can't sleep, I'm like, well, what did I do when I couldn't sleep as a kid? You just kind of lay there, you listen to the crickets. And there's no phone. There's all these things to, to play with.
Right. Stared out a window. I looked at the moon.
Yeah, right? It's like, but so now I forgot your question. I'm sorry.
Oh, what got you into journaling?
Oh, yeah. So I was writing as a kid, and a lot, the good, the bad. A lot of times how I processed emotions, especially at hard times. That was really my biggest outlet. And absolutely.
I'm so sorry for interrupting. It goes with it, though, I promise. Did you ever get in trouble in school for writing when you should have been doing something else?
It's just been coming up a lot. So
really?
I will ask. Yeah.
I don't remember. No, I don't remember getting in trouble for that.
Because you said that you were always writing poems and things like that. So I in my head, I pictured you in school, like you got this little notepad and you're just like writing, right?
Oh.
Because you were born with your purpose too. So like you've been doing it this whole time.
Yeah, no, it was mostly at home. Yeah. Yeah, it was mostly at home. I'm sorry?
So you were paying attention in school, is what I said.
Yeah, until high school. That's another story.
Oh, high school is always a mess.
That's another story.
That's another story.
Totally.
And you mentioned sociology, but can you explain what sociology is? Yeah,
so, sociology is the study of groups and people in groups. As opposed to psychology. Psychology is a study of the mind, and I'm simplifying, but how the mind works individually. And then sociology is all the group process.
Oh.
How groups work together, and how people go from one mindset and they follow another mindset. Could be politics. It's playing out in politics in our day. So that's sociology, and I loved sociology. I didn't want to get into my head or anybody else's head. I was like, it's too much.
It's scary. You could get caught.
Yeah, I don't like all that. It's too much. I just want. How does everybody operate? That was my. I really like that.
See, if I had known what sociology was back in high school, then maybe I would have gone into stuff like that. Because one of my biggest questions, and I'm pretty sure you'll relate to this, is why do people do what they do?
Right.
That's a good question.
Especially in groups, especially as a community.
Yeah.
You're like, individuals are hard enough. At least the collective, there's usually a pattern. Show me the pattern.
Yeah. And that's so important because now I was speaking about children, kids, teens, and parents. And, when we have our children, it's remember that kids are mostly trying to fit in.
Yes.
So it's, what is the group like that they're fitting into? Who are they hanging out with? What are they, at this day and age, what are they listening to or watching on the computer? And parents really need to spend time looking at that.
Did you put something over the microphone? It got really muffled.
Yeah, it got muffled.
Oh, did it? Oh. No, I didn't do anything. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, I'll be closer. So parents really need to spend time looking at what their children are doing in their spare time. I had 2 children. I've adopted one from China and the other from Guatemala. And, they're about 10 months apart. But my daughter was 6 months old. My son was 3.5 when we actually adopted him. And my daughter was she excelled in everything. Let's put it that way. She was above excelling. I remember monitoring her for about a year when she got her iPod, because then you can go on and computer. But she never, like went into chat rooms or those kinds of things. So I felt pretty confident. Then I met my son. Oh, I have to monitor you.
Yeah. Right, these are some kids.
very, very closely. You're not going to like me for a long time.
Right.
So, yeah, it was very, very different experiences. But you have to, every kid's different. So,
Right.
so we're talking about the group and how children behave in their groups. So it's, it's just always important for parents to be involved in what their children are doing to the best of their ability, even if it's giving them a ride. Unless they love to talk in the car, and we all know that, right? So they just chat, and you could just it's fun. Number one, to hear them, and number two is you hear how they think, and that's so important.
Right.
And I love it too. I love it. I'll take you. I was like, oh, I'll take you.
I have this rule because I have 4 kiddos, but 2 of them are grown out of the house. So I have 2 teenage boys at home. And so in the bathroom, which is a really weird thing to have this rule, but no technology. And in the car and at the dinner table and during movies, right? Like anything else, I'll be flexible too. I'll let you have your electronics. But during those times, especially at dinner and during, a car ride, things get quiet, your mind starts processing, and then just randomly when it gets quiet, and then poof, you have this really good question or insight, and you just say it, and then everybody chimes in, and it starts the best conversations. And so one fear that I have, which it goes directly into what we were talking about with you and your purpose, being born with it, living it throughout your life. What if we're so closed? I want to say, because when we're just so focused on electronics, we're closed to the rest of the world. What if we get so focused on something that's a distraction that we get closed off to our purpose, and we don't hear it in the background calling us and wanting us to do those whatever projects they are, passions and things like that? So do you ever find with the people that you work with that you do have to tell them to kind of put down those distractions or electronics to hear their inner voice more, or anything like that?
Absolutely. And it's, I'm fully retired now from the working world. The summer of 2024 was my last I left the high school. So fully retired. But that was always an issue. And even my daughter to this day, just put your phone down at the table, just put it down, and she's like, oh, oops, sorry. And then, it's so, but I think we do that too, though.
Yes.
I know I do that. And sometimes I think in this point in my life, and it's easy to be distracted by our own internal talk, our mind talk. So we go to the television, we go to listening to something, we do anything except to listen to what's the internal message, to kind of letting our soul speak, really. And it's, I think, when our soul cannot speak and when it speaks and we don't hear it, that's when we're at a crossroads. Does that make sense?
It does. I have a book really quick if you guys are interested in seeing it. It's not mine though. It's just you said something. All right, let me run. I'm back.
Okay.
Awesome.
Like, I'm at somebody else's house, so I'm like, what books do I need to reference? Bring them with me.
I have one of the older books, and I have a new book. It just came.
Oh, the Blue Talks book?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is the very first one. And I
I'm
have
super excited about
really?
it.
I just bought the recent one.
Oh, okay.
This one is by Julia Cannon. It's actually called Soul Speak. And she was a registered nurse. Her mom did hypnosis, and they did past life regression. And what they found was the subconscious would speak through these people while they were in their hypnotic state. And so Julia Cannon, who is the daughter, right? She was the registered nurse that wrote the book. She actually said a lot of the themes that the subconscious is saying, hey, if the person's not listening to me, that's why she's got that kink in her right shoulder, or she's having headaches because she's, ignoring the things that I've been telling her, or left leg last year because he was going the wrong direction. And so if we are, if we are so closed off or we can't hear our soul or our subconscious, what this book is about is how it will speak through our body. So if we have all kinds of physical ailments, then we have an obligation to like stop, listen, because then we'll be able to hear the guidance that we're getting. And like with the situation with you, you were still enough to hear your calling. And so like it starts sprinkling little nuggets and it guides you throughout your life. But if we can't hear it, literally the soul can't speak. It's trying to.
I love that. I wrote the name down. And
Yeah, it's a great book. You said that, I was like, I have to go grab that book.
what is the author's first name?
Julia.
Julia. Okay.
Cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of her mother, Dolores Cannon. I watch a lot of reels and stuff by like Dolores Cannon and Abraham Hicks.
Yep.
Like that.
Oh, Abraham.
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Abraham. I'm very familiar with Abraham Hicks.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That was his wife? No.
Julia is the daughter of Dolores Cannon.
Right. Abraham Hicks is what is the name that she goes by?
Esther.
Esther. Okay, that's a real name. That's what got me confused. That's a whole other person. Dolores Cannon was the hypnosis. Julia Cannon, who wrote the book Soul Speak, that was the nurse. It was her daughter. So two different groups of people. We're just talking about all kinds of people today.
Okay, all right.
Like the type of conversations that you have with the understanding that our physical ailments are related to emotion and the energy that comes with all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. There's
the other lady, the Alchemy of Healing, where she has like a big list and you can look up your ailment and see what the emotional.
I don't know, but that sounds very interesting.
Oh, I can't remember her name. Yeah, you know. I have it on my phone. Anyway, yes.
I'm writing this down.
That's actually why I got my doctorate in naturopathic health. I was a mental health therapist. I mean, I still am, but I'm doing more coaching and training now. Yeah. But because we're human, right? We get distracted. We can't hear our soul speak. It talks through our body, and a lot of mental health issues happen because we're closed off and we can't hear anymore.
Yeah. Louise Hay, that's the name.
Louise Hay.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait. And I actually took a weekend retreat of a course called Body Talk, where it was teaching you how to actually talk to your body and have your body talk to you.
I love that.
That was so cool.
But it's now. This course is occurring now. Is it available? I think I need that.
I think I took it like almost a decade ago. And
okay.
I still have my manual and stuff. We can chat about it afterwards.
Okay.
Figure it out. But this is about you, so I want to come back to you.
True.
And we're also at the point that I want to make sure that we have time to get in, like, how do we find you? And what is your favorite way to communicate?
That's a great question. But you can find me on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I should have Betsey Sarris, my full name. Facebook. I'm trying to understand Instagram. So I'm working on that. But those three are the main ones. Okay. And Facebook is easy for me because it's been around for a long time. Right. Or people can reach out to me at Betsey, so it's Betsey at unitedbyadoption.com, which is my website, United by Adoption.
I was wondering how that was integrated into what you're doing if you're a life coach, but then on the bLU Talks interview, like the information photo that we were putting on social media to advertise your interview, it said adoption coach.
Yes.
And so is that the majority of the people that you work with?
That is the majority, and it depends. It could be half and half. Sometimes people are looking for just direction, but I have a deep passion for especially transracial adopted families and like mine, and the lessons I've learned along the way. So given my background, working in detention, juvenile probation, as a high school behavior counselor, I work with a diverse group of families and children. And you'd think that I was pretty up on, racism, microaggressions. I thought I was a very open parent initially.
Mm.
When my children were young, I always asked. I went to everything. I went to the PTO stuff. I did class trips. We had, it was like the things that we think we're supposed to do. We had family dinners together. We did church on Sundays. We had vacations together. And my son, who doesn't really talk much about anything, so I didn't learn from him. But when my daughter, who's now 23, when she got through her first year of college, she came home, so excited to see her, and then tell me everything, what's going on, how was it? She looked at me and said, "Mom, I need to talk to you." And I was like, "Oh, okay, honey. Well, what's the matter?" And she just had this, like, can't describe it. It was a sullen look on her face, and she was quiet, looking down. Obviously, she was going to have a hard time telling me this, but she said, "Mom, you didn't prepare me for being different. You didn't prepare me for, like, racism. You didn't prepare me for everyone was different. I looked different than everybody else. People would make fun of my eyes." Now, she's talking when she was in elementary school.
Mm.
And I was, oh my God, she's beautiful eyes. And I was listening, and when anyone were accused of something, it's normal for us to get defensive.
Mm.
But so in listening, while I was in shock, I had the wherewithal not to say anything and just listen. And she let her go, and she spoke, and I just looked at her, and I said, "I'm so sorry, honey. I thought when we did these things, and I asked you things, if you're okay, you never said anything, and I'm so sorry. I just kept saying, I'm so sorry to let you down." And we hugged each other, and we both were crying. And that just opened the door for the road ahead.
Mm.
And I am still so proud of her that she had courage, and that she felt comfortable enough that she can tell me these things, first of all.
Yeah.
So awesome, and then I was like, what do I do with this? I can't just sit with this information and not look to make a positive change out of it. Otherwise, that experience just ends there. There's no growth, nothing good comes out of it. So I just started, like, researching in a deeper level, racism, microaggression, experiences of, people of color, especially Asian, Hispanic. What are the experiences, and when they're growing up in a white community with very few people that look like them. And as an adoptive parent, we're not prepared for that when we're going through the process. We're not prepared for, we're prepared for, kids are going to have issues, yes. But this is a different, I don't know, bag of issues. I hate to say it that way, but the challenges are different for transracial adopted families. There's many similarities. Families have issues, but in transracial adoption, we're not mirroring our race. They can't look to us and see themselves. They can't, they're growing up in a society where they're different, and that has to be paid attention to and seen from their perspective. And when, just quickly, when we're going through the adoption process to be accepted or as adoptive parents, and we get licensed and all those things. It seems the journey begins for our children when we adopt them. That's how society sees it. Their adoption day is their start of their life and our life together, right? Yes, that's true. But there's this whole other life that they had, whether they were 6 months or 3 years or 4 years.
Yeah.
So, and we need to, I think that needs to be honored and brought into the picture.
I wish we had more time. It's so unfortunate we're getting to the end.
Yeah. I do want to take this moment to say thank you very much. And I do know that since this is going on online TV, it will cut us off no matter what. So
Okay.
I want to make sure that we say thank you.
Thank you.
And that we have this wonderful time with you. Is there anything that you want to leave people with in about 30 seconds? And then we'll call it the official close of the interview.
Believe in yourself. Believe in there is help out there. Find the right person. Please feel free to reach out to me and we can talk. And if I'm a good fit, great. If not, let's find somebody else. And you're not alone. To whoever's listening and needs to hear this message, you're not alone.
I love it.
So thank you so much for your time. I love this. This was awesome.
It was so nice to have your time.
Yes. Thank you, Betsey.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
And, take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
You too. Okay, we do have our next guest in the background. We didn't get to do our little social media bit, but I know she came in late. So I'm like, oh God, online TV is going to cut us off.
Yeah.
It was like the recording here is going to be fine, but when we take it out and we plunk it in, you're cut off at such a time, no matter what. So I want to make sure it was wrapped up. Thank you again, Betsey. Our next guest is behind the scenes. Irina, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Yay! Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. It's not the first time. I know I've interviewed you before, but it's been a while, which means I think you know my not so secret introduction question. Hopefully you didn't do your homework and came prepared. So, Irina, I'm going to ask you the same thing I ask everybody. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Motivating, inspiring, and light.
Motivating and light.
Light. Sometimes I wish I could just be like word and then it's all written out in one button. Because I know my brain works so much faster than my fingers do, and then writing it down, it's just a mess.
Yeah.
But thankfully, we have a recording. So, Irina, you said motivating, inspiring, and light. My only other big question is, how do those 3 words, and I'll say them again, motivating, inspiring, and light, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
Well, motivating is, I'm hoping, with my own example, to motivate people into being who they are and to let them know that it's never too late to change your life, because you are the author that holds the key, who holds the pen, who can write their next chapter, that our past is not defined by who we are. We get to decide who we are by constantly reinventing ourselves.
I love it.
I like that. The be who you are. It's never too late. You're the one with the pen in the chapter. Also, even if you use a pen, there's this thing called whiteout that we can use. It doesn't erase the past, but it helps us to rewrite the present.
Oh, I love that.
Totally.
Oh, I'm going to have to write that as a quote. Okay, click. So, Irina, I love that. What got you into helping people to be themselves and who they are?
I guess my own personal story of becoming becoming a single parent of a newborn and a 5-year-old, and waiting for a year for somebody to come rescue me, but of course nobody did. So I decided to rescue myself. Maybe I had a midlife crisis, I don't know, but I had that loss of identity. I was someone else's spouse, someone else's mom, but who I was, I no longer knew. And so I embarked on a journey of personal development and growth. But before that happened, kind of a turning point was I was standing on a station platform and rushing every day to drop off kids to go back to work. And one day I kind of was fed up with all of that. And I decided that we don't just come here to suffer, because every day I felt I was getting closer to my death. Well, I didn't feel like I was living. It was constant rush of daily morning commute and constant going somewhere, but for what purpose, for what sake? So I decided from that moment that we didn't come here to suffer, and there is must be more to this thing called life. And I decided to discover what it was. I didn't know how, when, or what, but I wanted to be happy, because if I'm miserable, everybody else is going to be miserable. Who is in my life?
And it's so much easier to see as a single parent, because your kids will reflect your emotions right back at you. I have a friend who's going through this right now, not mentioning any names. I know he's not watching. And so they're little mirrors, and you're like, I didn't realize I was that angry today.
Yeah.
Oh, so I can be that loving. Good to know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Oh. So, okay, going back and forth to work. What did you used to do? Because there's always a connection.
Yeah. What I used to do, I was in the corporate world for 20 plus years, doing mortgage analytics, operations, customer service, accounting, system testing, everything and anything that has to do with mortgages.
Okay. Did you choose getting into mortgages, or did you just fall into
I
it?
think I kind of fell into it. I was studying to be computer information systems with minor in finance. And my first job out of college was in mortgages as an intern. And that kind of, I guess, mapped the trajectory of my life from that perspective. But deep inside, I wanted to be like a graphic designer or a fashion designer, designing things. I didn't get to realize that dream yet, but who knows? It might still happen.
Okay.
Well, it sounds like a huge transition from very analytical to very creative. But you've landed somewhere in the middle because you're a transformational coach, right? Which takes analysis and it takes creativity, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love creativity because I'm a deep believer in hobbies. I believe through hobbies we discover who we are. We discover different dimensions of ourselves, and I love that aspect. So through my personal journey, one of my creative endeavors was joining Toastmasters, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable. Another one was learn how to sing. And that's been incredible, such an amazing opportunity to use the other part of your brain, not just the analytical one, but the creative kind. And I'm still on the journey of doing that. So, and it's been incredible. It was so much better than any therapist could ever done for me, because therapists actually didn't work out, but singing did. And that was my catalyst of getting out of there, of that funk and all that. And another creative endeavors, continuous learning, and like I love foreign languages, so I'm learning Duolingo. On Duolingo, I'm learning French.
Yeah.
I love painting, so doing that as well. Creative outlet. There are just so many amazing things that we can try, and it's never too late.
Okay, you're definitely my jam.
Yeah. I love that you went from, if the therapist didn't work out, what does my body need? Because that by talking straight to your body, you're uncovering your creativity, and it intuitively knows what it needs. And that's the piece that was missing for you. It seems like the creative spark, the movement, things like that. And then using your voice, because you're speaking too, right? Yeah, you need to get those kinks out to be able to speak. I love that.
Oh, okay. So bringing this all together with a story. And I'm not trying to make this about me. I'm just trying to highlight the points with a story. So I used to, as a kid, sing power vocals because I didn't really know how to express my feelings. It was just a way that I could like let it all out verbally. So when you said that you're learning to sing and it was helping you as a catalyst, I was like, girl, yes.
Do it.
Then I didn't know for most of my life why, but in September, so last month, I was asked to teach a class on frequency and how to use your voice as an attunement and as a tool to help you figure out what's going on. And so I did some research on what was actually happening. And we pick up other people's emotions and what's happening in our world, just like your kids, right? They reflect back at you. So we're picking it all up, and then our body will quit it, like it'll tense up in the areas that produce sound based on what we've picked up in our environment around us. So if you can go from like your head voice and you can feel the vibration there into your nose, into your mouth, into your throat, into your chest, and you find those sticking points where it doesn't vibrate as well, that tells you the type of emotion you've been picking up from the world. And once you start working with it through the singing and the power vocals, you start to clear that energetic stuff away. I was like, this is so cool.
The science is so fascinating. The human body is fascinating.
Yeah. So I am not surprised that singing is a part of the catalyst that has gotten you to be a coach and to getting people to be who they are, because it's all connected.
Right. So,
You
Eric,
also-
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So I'm a trauma therapist. Well, I used to before I moved into leadership development, but I still have that mind, right? So I still see things as what's kinked in the nervous system. And what you were talking about is using singing as a catalyst.
Yes.
But I've noticed, one, through my clients, like the people that I've worked with that transform, they change, all of their senses change because their reality changes and their voice changes too. So I can hear now the level of trauma that's still stuck in someone when they're talking. And this is just grocery stores, walking down the street, stuff like that. But then in myself, using it, right, as a flip the script, like, okay, well, if you can see that, what do you see in yourself? And I've noticed throughout the years of my development that my voice is now more sing-song, soft, sweet, kind, versus very rough and rugged, which is how it originally started, right? And so when it comes to you using your voice and using the dancing to move your body and to get through these kinks, how have you personally changed with your body and with your voice while you're going through this transformation?
I don't know. Looking back, I used to love singing men's songs because I have a wide range of voice. And now I'm more I can do like pop and women's style singing, so maybe in that way. And when I started out, I wasn't great. I think when we start out, we suck, but we can develop as soon, like the more we progress, the more we practice, we get to do better. What else? My singing range expanded also, and I speak in 4 different languages: English, Russian, Italian, French, and Spanish. No, I don't speak Italian.
I just sing it.
but I go with the melody. If I love the melody, I go. I'll learn the lyrics and I'll do everything.
Have you ever had any emotional responses while you're singing?
Personally, I love it. It's like you come alive, because I think when we are present, we are right here, we're tuned in. So we are so aware, and it's the best embodiment practice, I think, because you're in tune. You feel all your senses. Sometimes I get goosebumps.
They're the truth bumps again.
Yeah. So if you could reference for us a song that tells us a little bit about who you are as a person, because you're like, be who you are, it's never too late. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know a song that kind of gives us some sort of reference as to how you see yourself? Or maybe a song that right now you're jamming to because you're like, I need more of this in my life.
There are two. So one is by Pink, I'm Never Gonna Not Dance Again.
Ooh. Yes.
And the second one, Italian one, it's called Due Vite.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know the exact translation. I just love the do it. I think it's about 2 lives. That's the meaning. And it was on Sanremo in 23 or 24. That's how I kind of learned from it. But yeah.
How do you spell tu vite?
It's Due, D-U-E, and Vite, V-I-T-E.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who sang the Due Vite?
Oh, his name, he's a famous Italian guy.
Marco Mangoni?
Yes, yeah, that one.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
I was looking it up.
I have new music.
What is it called? New Shoes by Paolo Nutini. When I'm feeling like in the dumps, I put that one on. It is so, my kids would be like, would you please stop, Mom? Because it is so happy and it's so hype. I'm like, come on, bring on the happy. We got to get more happy.
The one song that's hit me a lot lately is This Is What It Sounds Like from the movie K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Mm-hmm.
Because I get to this one line, it's like, you are not alone. And my voice goes to crap. Like I can't sing anymore because there's so much tension in my throat because I relate so highly to that. I was like, I'm not alone and I see it now. Oh, that was good. That's good.
Thank you.
Okay.
Other song.
Oh, this message, I want to shift gears just a bit and eat my hair apparently. To the ways that you have decided to share it, because you've got lots. And the typical that we cover is the speaking, the author, the podcaster. Do you do those 3?
Yes. I host 2 podcasts, Single Parent Success Stories. Ooh. And the second one is called Reclaim Your Life with Irina. And I have a YouTube channel called Happiness Academy. I believe we are holistic beings and we operate in 4 states of being simultaneously. So I'm all about learning and teaching habits in physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual space.
Yeah.
And speaking, I got my first Blue Talk speech in MIT that I did back in July, so 2 months ago, and I'm really excited. My second dream came to be realized. First one was becoming an author, and I did that. I've written 7 books in 3 years, and it's been an incredible adventure.
Is that what that shelf of colorful books is?
Yes, that's all.
Can you show us one or 2?
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to bring my whole shelf over.
Yeah.
This is my solo book. The other ones are compilations. This one is called The Gift Inside. 12 steps to find, heal unworthiness, brokenness, and victim mentality so that you can find your happy. And I'm sharing the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, simple habits, sometimes very trivial that we take for granted in this one. And I also did Blue Talks Volume 14.
Yes.
I wrote the Happiness Blueprint. That's my chapter in this contribution. And the other books was Soul Parent. We did 1 and 2.
Yep.
This was from the podcast, the Single Parent podcast. I invited my guests to contribute, and we did Volume 1 and Volume 2. Basically, their stories of transformation, what worked for them from all walks of life, men and women. And then my first ever was in April 22. It was called Sacred Surrender. And I did a chapter in it. This was in April 22. The chapter was called Reclaim Your Life. Basically, a journey coming back, surrendering to yourself.
So as a fellow single mother, I would like to thank you for everything that you do, because the more of us that we work through our transformation, because we don't have to get lost in it, right? Moving through it and then speaking it for other people, it's so possible. But we have to keep going together. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So now I need to ask you this weird one-off question, because I need to know, and I'm working on this too. We had another guest who would talk about your style and finding your style. And finding your style helps you to outwardly dress the part of what you feel inside, even though you don't always feel that. And you mentioned that you were interested in fashion. So if you could create a full head-to-toe outfit that made you feel exactly how you want to feel, what kinds of things are we looking at here? Give us a picture.
I don't know.
You're like, ball gown.
Right?
Superwoman.
Ooh, you're going to be dressed like Superwoman?
Very nice.
Like mini skirt Superwoman? Or do you got something like, I'm not a mini skirt gal. Give me pants.
Pants are good. They're comfortable and you know, you can get around in them.
Yeah.
Okay, so Wonder Woman.
Because
Yeah, like Wonder Woman, I think.
being a single parent doesn't have to be a disability. It can be a superpower. We just have to choose to make it that way.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely.
When I became a single parent, I was discovering what normal is by looking around, but I didn't find anything. So I decided we get to decide what normal is for in our own circumstances.
Yeah. I tell my daughter all the time, I was like, just because it's common or just because it's normal doesn't make it okay.
Right.
It doesn't make it healthy. So just because you're looking at all your friends doesn't mean that's the answer either.
Yeah, and we only get to see what's on the outside. We don't know what's going on in their families. If they're truly happy, who knows?
Yeah. I think they're learning a lot about that. She's in grade 10 now. And she's become more observant.
Right.
Because she's an extrovert like me. And I was like, no, we're extroverts. We need to practice our observation skills.
Yeah.
She practices. And she sees more of the patterns that come up that people don't necessarily talk about.
Right.
And so she can respond to what's happening in the unspoken versus just the masks that people wear.
Right.
How does that conversation come up when you're working with clients or when you're speaking on a stage? Because we all wear masks.
Absolutely.
All of us.
And we all we have how we operate around our friends, around our family. And I think it's difficult sometimes because you gotta, like, what is your true nature? Because you wear so many masks throughout the day.
Yeah.
When do you come home to yourself and who you are? And in society, we always, or when we think about ourselves, we define ourselves as this role, as this job title, as this profession that we have. But we are so much bigger than that. We have so many lived experiences. Oftentimes, like the way, like, I wrote books. I'm not an English major. English is not even my second language. Sorry, first language. What am I saying?
Is it your second now?
English is my second language.
It is your second. Okay. It could have been your third. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you sing in what, like 5?
Yes. But I'm saying we have this definitions of the way we are being brought up, that we gotta have this title, this idea, and this is kind of gives us our ability to open our mouths. But what about our lived experiences? Like, you're a single mom, and you, Laura, you have led such an amazing life already up to this point, but we always feel that we have to earn our right to speak, to share who we are. So we go to college, we get this degree, and like we are qualified in that particular arena. And same with books and sharing who you are. Sometimes it's difficult, I have overcome my own imposter syndrome when I was writing. Like, who am I to write? Who is gonna listen to what I have to say? I'm not a famous person. I'm just me. But I think when we do that, when we do the writing and we do the speaking, we heal ourselves, and we also heal people around us.
Right.
Who maybe feel stuck, who may be on a different path and they don't know what next step to take. So by owning our stories and by having that ability to decide and to write, to open up our voice, we can help ourselves and we can help others.
I call those PhDs in life.
In
life university.
There's a lot of people that will come and do interviews and they're like, I don't think I'm ready for an interview because I haven't done X, Y, Z, fill in the blank. And I'm like, but okay, I need you to understand that your story and your experience is the case study from which they put into the books that people with the letters and the certificates behind their names learn from in hopes of getting a glimpse of what the actual experience was like. You lived it. and you asked questions about it, and you explored and got your own answers and had that back and forth feedback. It wasn't just like, I lived it, okay, now I'm going to teach it. You did the due diligence just like somebody does with their dissertation when they go for their master's. You have to defend your own experience every step of the way. So I think it's super powerful. So Irina, oh, there's so much here. The accounting, the mortgage, the finance, the computer science. When we look at you, it can feel like an oxymoron. That part of you that's like, I'm super logical and super sciencey and super computer tech. But then the other side of you is like, I like to sing and dance and do art. How does that come together in a way that flows for you?
I believe that we are wholesome beings and we get to explore and play in all those areas. Life becomes more interesting that way. I've also done like coaching stuff. Like I learned neuro-linguistic programming, and that kind of opened up the mind. It's like a manual for your mind, and wellness and fitness training. I believe in continuous learning and evolution, because the more we learn, the better we become.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing. I don't know how to combine, but I think we go through life kind of stages in life where something was you were passionate about it, it was relevant to you, and gone are the days when you go to school and you have this fun career for the rest of your life. Now we see people changing 4, 5, 6 times throughout their lifetimes, choosing what they're going to do next, because it's not to say one was wrong, it's just it served its purpose and it lived its place, and now there is room for something else. You're passionate about something else and you can take that step. Again, like our past does not define the future. I never knew in a million years that I would be hosting podcasts or writing books. That was not in the plan. It was kind of unfolded when I wanted to when I was on my journey of recovering who I am. I used to use first hour of the day, like Tony Robbins calls the power hour. I would recite how I wanted my life to be, and one of them was writing books, speaking on stages, singing on stages. And it's been so long. I think it was in 2015 when I was like talking about it and feeling it, and in 22 the writing came, and this year the speaking came. I mean, in person, in real life, not on a Zoom screen. On a Zoom screen, it's been since 2020. So.
I have a quick question, Irina. So the way that you're talking about your life and moving through these transformations, and from one career to another, to me, I hear chapters, right? So like, if your life was a book, what would it be called?
I love the gift inside, like I wrote.
What is it?
The gift inside.
The gift inside. Okay. I was wondering if it was going to be one that you already wrote. Because
this what it would be.
Very nice.
What are all the other words saying around it?
They say gift inside.
Oh, they all say it. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was designing the cover. So one variation was, so it's 12 steps. I thought maybe fill it with 12 steps, but then I changed it back to just gift inside.
But I like that it looks like a heart.
Yeah.
Yes. The whole idea is that we all have a heart and we all have a gift inside of us. And it is our job to share what that gift is. Find out what it is and share it with the world. And through the book, I'm hoping to help people realize they don't need to seek happiness outside of themselves. They can find it deep within. Yeah. Find what they're great at and share it with others.
So then, with all the things that you do and how you help people, what would you say is your number one gift?
Creating safe space for people so that they feel comfortable sharing, like with podcast hosting. What I often hear, that I create the safe space when they can share and that I ask good questions.
So you create a place where they can find their gift inside.
Yes.
And that's hard to do. sometimes we think we're going to a safe space, and then there might be some judgment there, or there might be a loophole, or there's the one person who just ruins it for everybody. Like, we've all been in those spaces. So it makes us really, really appreciate when somebody actually does it and we feel it. So I haven't really experienced it beyond like a room full of people with you, but I can say that every time that we have interacted, it has always been a delight. I've never felt any sort of regret. So at least from this end, I can say, yes, you're doing it. Keep doing it, please. I want to ask you this because I think you're going to be a great person to give us insight into what can really help the audience. So some of the people in the audience, they want to be speakers, they want to be writers, they want to be on podcasts. They may have already started, they may not. What kind of advice would you give somebody who's just getting started, who may not see themselves as a writer yet, or a speaker yet, or even thought that they would be the right person to start a podcast?
I say, how you call it, if you want something to happen, if you have the will and desire, then it can happen for you. When I started my podcast, I had no idea from a technical perspective how to have a podcast, or from a marketing perspective. I simply was inspired by an idea. I was in a mastermind with Brandon Bouchard, and a fellow masterminder was doing a series of interviews with entrepreneurs. And I said, what a great idea. I want to speak to single parents who've been there, done that.
Yeah.
It was interesting to me because single parenting has so much stigma around it and everything kind of bad connotation. I wanted to get a better side of it. And I didn't consider myself an expert, so I wanted to speak to people who've been there, done that. And that's how it started, with an idea, without having any technical knowledge, without having any marketing knowledge or online business, any kind of knowledge. I started all backwards. The recommendation is you have to first go on socials, start your following, then ask the people what they want, and then give them what they want. I did it all backwards. I came with an idea, and I learned along the way. And what advice can I give? Don't be humble, or don't be distracted by your humble beginnings. You can always improve and iterate as you kind of go better, as you do more and more of those things. When I started, I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't stop. We only fail if we stop. We can succeed, because failure, how do I say, it's a false evidence appearing real. That's one definition of it. Oh, sorry, fear. But there is no failure in life. Everything is a feedback mechanism. So if something didn't work out, just try again. Do over.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And take the lesson too, because like you're saying, it's a feedback loop. Doesn't mean that it's working against you. It's helping you. Doesn't mean that it's going to be easy though.
Yeah.
Okay, nerd reference. I'll be like, oh, side quest over here. And it's not like it's not helping you. You're getting all the XP and the gear to fight the main quest bad guy at the end.
Yeah.
But sometimes that main quest bad guy is that thought process in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. For speaking wise, I would recommend joining Toastmasters. It's very low level investment, and you get to practice with everybody who is on the same level as you. So you have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Everything to fear?
To gain. To gain.
Yes, that too. Yeah, but that's the one that helps you get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So now that you have faced your fears, you have done the practice, and you obviously have lots of books and you have lots of podcasts and you're speaking on stages. Yay, a Blue Talk stage. How do you feel now? Do you still feel like an imposter? Do you feel like you can take that next step? Where are you at?
I think we all have this little imposter steps that we kind of step over. What used to be uncomfortable is now comfortable. I'm a recovering introvert. Who would have thought I would be speaking on a podcast on my own and on others? So I think we are ever evolving.
Yeah.
I am not as afraid as I used to be, maybe. That would be a better way to say it. But speaking doesn't scare me anymore. It gets me excited, actually. I enjoy speaking now.
Okay.
I did one I was in a competition for Toastmasters and was a humorous speech context, and I was sitting in the audience waiting for my name to be called and thinking, what if I'm gonna forget my line? What am I gonna do? There are like 50 people in the audience. I don't know them. Maybe there were like 5 from my group, but the rest are all unknowns. And then I go to the stage. I feel the butterflies in my stomach. I feel those nuts. And as soon as I get to the stage and I face my audience and the first words roll out of my tongue, I see the reaction on the faces, and I can hang on to they're hanging on to my every word, and I feel that energy of this live audience. And it's just such a delicious energy to be a part of it. And the whole talk just comes out, rolls off my tongue, and it was an incredible experience. So I felt that kind of this fear, but fear, we can kind of reframe it when we're speaking, that we're excited because it's the same bodily sensations. It's just our perception, how we choose to see ourselves in that moment. So it was an amazing experience, and I want to re-experience it over and over again. And it's not the same when you speak on podcasts because you're just sitting in your own room speaking in Zoom. But when you're in person, when you're live, it's just totally a different kind of energy that you can feel.
What I love with what you just said is what helped you calm and recenter was connecting with the audience. And when we can't do that, then we jittery, and then we forget our lines, and it becomes so much more difficult. So getting into flow is so much harder. And what takes us from going to scared and closed to open and free is our ability to just be authentic. So if we don't work on that before we do that, or if we're constantly putting ourselves in the discomfort and just saying, it's okay, get comfortable, it opens, like we open so we can connect. It doesn't mean that the fear goes away, it shifts, right? Like you're saying you're transforming it, but everybody is going through that. And then really what calms us is the ability to connect. Like, oh, they are here with me. I'm not alone. Like you were saying, Laura, like I'm not alone. It's a reminder that I think we all need it. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And I have to say, I really enjoy your smile. There's so much energy behind your smile. I love it. Okay, Irina, at this point, I do want to make sure that we get in how we find you and your favorite way to communicate.
Yes. So my website is irinashehovsov.com, just like my name. My YouTube channel is Happiness Academy. You can also find me on LinkedIn. And favorite way to communicate, LinkedIn or Instagram. Instagram is red.claimyourlife, and LinkedIn is my name, Irina Shehovsov.
Okay.
And my books are available on Amazon.
Oh, okay. Good.
You said your books are available on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay.
And her fashion and her art and her new CDs, all the things that don't quite exist yet. Not yet. I think it would be really fun, though, to see some of the sketches that you have of ideas for fashion. Because I'm doing the same thing right now. I'm like, I want to, because I grew up and my mom worked for a bridal shop. So I learned how to sew at a really young age. But I never really designed like on paper clothes. So now I'm trying to do it on paper, and it feels weird. I just do it. But I want to see, because I'm curious where your head is at. It'll be really fun.
Okay.
I like to hold space at the end of an interview just in case there's something on your mind or in your heart that you wanted to share. So what would you love to leave people with?
Just like my previous guest, your previous guest said, believe in yourself. And the easiest way out of the darkness is to practice gratitude. It's free. And it's little breadcrumbs that we can use as a way out of the darkness.
Absolutely. And if it becomes really difficult, like you can always keep lists of that to remind you, right? Like that's a really good reminder.
Yeah.
I always have a visual when I think about, because my brain plays movies all the time. And if I can't play a movie, then I don't really understand. So it plays movies. And the movie that I play when I think of personal growth and helping other people is we're all in this deep, dark cave. And this one really brave person lights the candle that they have with some sort of spark from within, which is what you're talking about, being bold and being you. And it's never too late. And just having gratitude will give you that spark. Now it's my job to find other people who don't have lit candles and help them light their candle. So now all of a sudden that one candle turns into like 20 candles. And we're all trying to find our way out of the cave. But with one candle, it's really difficult. But the more candles I can light, the more light that we have, the more passages that we can go down, and the quicker we can all get out together.
And what's even better with that situation is if somebody is too scared to get theirs lit, like let's say they're just keeping it close to them, if everybody around them lights it, there's still enough light.
Yes, I know. And it makes me really happy because I don't know, I'm thinking of like Smurfs and what's that one show, Fraggle Rock, where everybody's underground. Fraggles underground. It's like your candle. Okay, it's really cute. At this point, I want to call this the official close of the main portion of the interview. So thank you so much, Irina.
Thank you, Irina.
Thank you.
I do ask that you stick around for about another 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yes, double checking. Because I like to use this as a playful space for social media. We're going to like tease some of the things that we talked about in your interviews that you could just be telling people, go watch it. So I'm going to start with Dr. Jacqueline this time. What is something that stood out to you, Dr. Jacqueline, about our conversation with Irina?
Irina, so as a single mom, right? Like we all get into that mindset of I am alone, I'm struggling, nobody knows what this feels like, nobody's with me and nobody's coming. And what you had said when you had that shift, it was like your fork in the road where you're like, you started to have that mindset and you're like, well, nobody's showing up, so I'm going to save myself. And so that's when you put your own cape on and you started moving forward and then you created this beautiful life, but it was that fork in the road. And so we all get these forks in the road and it just depends on what you want to do with it. You know, and the fact that you've lived this amazing, beautiful life and you talk to people not only to help them find, you know, their light at the end of the tunnel, them transforming, right? But you've lived it. And then the group of people being single parents that don't know that they can, when they find people who are like you, where they find proof that it's possible, I think it makes it more possible. You know, so I feel like you are a huge light for people and you're going to do a lot of good for a lot of people who don't have that hope. So thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
And now that you're feeling all the feels, I'm going to bring it to you, Irina.
I'm crying. Thank you for being live with me.
Yeah, where's that tissue that I brought over? It's gone. So that's why my laptop was crooked. My book was under the thing the whole time. Okay. Now that I've shaken everything up. Okay, Irina, what is something that stood out to you during our conversation today?
I think you both are wonderful hosts and you keep the conversation flowing and connected, and it's always a pleasure to be here.
Aw, thanks. I take your feedback. Thank you.
Yes, well received. It was actually because we had an amazing guest too. Like it's easier when we're all flowing and you're just
So
very
much easier.
You're a very easy person to talk to, actually.
Okay, a couple teasers for my reflections of what stood out to me was you shared a catalyst for getting out of some dark spaces and getting you to start transforming. I'm not going to say what it is. You got to go watch the rest of the interview.
Yeah.
And then the other one was you also shared a way to get out of darkness that is free. 100% free. Again, go watch the interview. She says that too.
We all need that reminder.
Exactly. So we have about a minute left. If there's any sort of final comment, you're more than welcome. The space is yours.
Just grateful to be here, and thank you for the work that you are doing by bringing other people here and helping them share their message, so that we are not alone. As they say, one boat can shift the other. So when when one ship rises, the others can rise with them.
Oh,
I forgot the right.
I don't know.
We're ships rising, we're candles being lit, like all the good stuff. We're gonna make it.
So we're rising lit. Got it.
Yes.
And Vynny just comes in the background. He's like, what? What's going on?
What did I just walk in on?
Thumbs up from Vynny. Okay. I want to share a little bit about an interview that I saw. I'm trying to remember who it was. I can picture their faces. I'm just not very good with names. So like two dudes on like super popular podcast thing are talking about what these super wealthy people are claiming to be of the highest value. And it came down to somebody's energy. And I was like, what? So they're like those people that are willing to talk to you, that are smiling, that are excited, that are passionate, that are bringing the energy to a space. They're like, you can't create that. You can't force that. You can't buy that. So somebody who has it, and we're all here, right? That's super valuable. So leaning into that value that you already have, I'm just going to celebrate all of us who have that energy. So
Yes.
love.
Thank you, Irina.
And I want to say thank you, Irina, for being here with us, for letting me interview you again. It's always so much fun.
Thank you so much,
To
Laura.
say goodbye.
And Jackie.
Bye, Irina.
Bye.
And we do have our next guest. Oh, things just switched really quickly. I was going to ask you if you were ready first.
I guess you're ready.
I guess so. Born ready. Let's rock
Born
this.
ready. I went to click remove, and then she had left, and you had moved over, and it was just perfect timing.
It's all
It
good.
was fate. It was fate.
Ready to rock with the flow.
I thought that I had interviewed you already because I felt like we already had that deep conversation. It's because you keep showing up at networking and Taco Tuesday and other things that I play as a part of, and you're engaged. You're always so engaged. So I feel like I already know you.
Well, that's a very nice compliment. I try to be involved, and you were just talking about positive energy, so I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Own your presence, right? So
Exactly. But I'm really happy that you're here because we're going to start off the way that I normally start off. And I think I subjected this to you like a couple months ago during networking. I'm going to compare your answers. So here's
I don't remember what this is, but
good.
sure.
Good. So I like to start interviews off just because I don't want your elevator pitch. I don't want your bio. That stuff's boring. I want to get to know Vynny, which is what we do in networking. So
Cool.
the question here is, if you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Loyal, determined, and helpful. I probably got 2 out of 3 from when you asked that before. I'm gonna guess.
I
Probably
think I still have it in this book, so now I want to go back and look it up if it's here quickly.
Well, I
If not-
appreciate that because this is the first time I'm getting to talk to you, Vynny.
Hi, I was gonna Dr. Jaqueline.
Jaqueline, yep, that's what my kids call me.
You've seen that skit, I imagine, Kay and Peele. Have you ever seen that?
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, where he plays a substitute teacher and he plays
Yep.
on all the words. So, yes. But I imagine you pronounce it Jacqueline?
Jacqueline, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm French, so in French it would be Jacqueline.
Jacqueline,
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm a Frenchie. French is my mother tongue.
Better
so-
than Jaqueline.
Yes. I think Dr. Jack, Dr. Campbell, what do you want me to call you?
Dr. J. You can call me Jacqueline.
Okay, Jacqueline it is.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
all
so
friends
Vynny-
here.
Say
I
again?
did find your old words.
Oh, what are they?
Yes.
So this time you said loyal, determined, and helpful. Last time you said loyal, entertaining, and impactful.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah,
like,
and
still close. Things don't usually change too much. The energy behind the words is generally the
Yeah.
same.
I need more
But
than 3 words. That's the problem.
I know it's hard. So here's the follow-up. And again, I mean, these words are going to change every single time, but it's the meaning behind them, the energy behind them. So how do these 3 words, and we're going to use today's words, loyal, determined, and helpful, how do they play a role in the core message that you have for people?
Well, the core message, I've got a few different talks that I do, but one of the things that I've always said is the takeaway from any of my talks, and you've probably heard that in my pitch, always the same. Whether I'm talking about police dogs, motivation, or recruiting, the takeaway is always, the goal is that people leave a little bit better equipped to not only understand themselves, but better equipped to understand others, the people around them, the people close to them. Because that's not just good for business, it makes the world a better place. So the loyalty piece in that, I'm very loyal to life, to my friends, to my fitness routine, or whatever I get involved in. And I think that plays a role in that messaging, is that if you're going to commit to something, commit to it, jump in. I'm a typical Aries. I don't dip my toe in the pool. I dive in. So yeah.
I don't know.
So there's pros and cons to that. When we love whole, but when we hurt all over also. So there's a yin and a yang to it. But loyalty, be committed, and I'm all about that. The friends that I have are lifelong friends. I would say I have tons of acquaintances, but very few people do I call my friends. My friends come into my inner sanctum. They come into my home, share a meal, have a glass of wine. That loyal group. So that's the loyal piece. What's the other word you want me to talk about?
Determined and helpful.
Well, determined, it kind of follows suit with the loyalty. Like, I'm not one. If I'm going to take something on, I take it on. I'm not a guy that would have 5 projects on the go and they're all just a little bit's done. Take something on. I'm determined. I'm going to see it to completion. I'm going to finish it. Just like jumping into this new venture as a public speaker, not doing it for the police, but doing it on my own. I was determined, okay, I'm going to do this. What's the steps I need to follow? Laid out a plan. Okay, bang, 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 and started to follow it. So determination, perseverance, all kind of piggyback onto loyalty, because you're committed. You're committing to something. So that, I would say, the determination piece. And the helpful piece, that's the goal with all of this. Somebody asked me just the other day, I was on a podcast, and they asked me, how much money are you looking to make? And I said, not about the money for me. Do I want to go broke doing this? No, obviously I want to make some money. But, I'm retired. I have a pension. I have a great life. I'm very grateful for the life that I'm living. I have so much to be grateful for. I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because I believe that I have a message, and I have a way of sharing that message that helps people. Ever since I was a kid, I was a good joke teller and a storyteller. And Corey gave me a testimonial, and he says, you're a masterful storyteller. And I think that that's a gift in a way, to be able to relay a story so that somebody can connect with it. And all of a sudden they feel like maybe they're part of that story, or it applies to their life. And that helps them, because then it humanizes you. They say, wow, that person really gets me. Right. And if you're in their shoes, they're in your shoes. And that's a gift, to be able to connect like that. I love that feeling. Cher once said she loves the feeling of falling in love. That honeymoon moment. Mm-hmm. For me, that moment is when you're on a stage and you're connecting with people, and all of a sudden you can see, some people have a tear, some are laughing, and you've got the crowd. You can hear a pin drop sometimes, and other times, everyone's on board with the laughter, and it's almost a dance. And that connection, the feeling that I get from that, I don't know how to describe that. It's something money can't buy, and that's what I do it for. It's not for the money. When you're the vessel that the water can flow through, there's always water left in that pipe after you're done. And that, I think, is the bonus for me. It's the water that's left in there that's the best payment, that feeling. Sorry, I kind of I'm typical canine handler. I went on a bunny trail there.
That's the best.
Go ahead, Laura. Sorry.
I was just going to say that's the best, because then things come up that wouldn't normally come up, and I'm just like, yay, take it and run. Because you were talking about some of the best moments of being on a stage. And I know that some people think that being on a stage is, okay, a lot of people think being on a stage is scary, and many people won't do it because they fear moments like when everybody goes silent. That's when
good.
Some people will start to panic. But in my mind, it is one of the most beautiful moments on a stage.
Yeah.
Because
and it's not for everyone. Right?
Yeah.
Like I know when you look at me, you think, oh, he's a baker, obviously, but I'm not. I don't bake at all. You know, it's not my thing. So it's not for everyone. But when people, how do I say that? There's people that love the idea of it.
Yes.
But it's how do you say that to someone? And so at our graduations, our police graduations, they used to have an MC who was a higher ranking officer, but it's like, dude, somebody's got to, and I'd always go to my boss and say, listen, somebody needs to go see that guy and say, hey, we have great speakers here. Let one of them do that part, because you're killing it the wrong way. You need somebody, it's the graduation. People are there with their families.
Yeah.
And this guy, public speaking, was just not his forte. And it's hard to say that to people. How do you say that to somebody? Because they love the idea of being up front there, but how do you say to them, you know what, you're not really good at that. You should, maybe find your other strengths. And so it's not for everyone. Public speaking, I think there's some people that are deathly afraid of it, and so they'll never be on the stage. There's some people that like the idea of it, but is it the right fit? Maybe they're better on a panel. And that's a dance also, right? Some people that maybe just alone on a stage, if you can't captivate a crowd and carry that crowd, that could be an awkward moment. But sometimes with a panel, with a few people, there's strength in numbers, and then you carry a little piece of the load, and everybody has, and that can turn into a beautiful thing. So discovering where you fit in that stage presence can be a big thing.
I know for me, I can talk for hours by myself, which is probably one of the reasons why Corey asked me to do this. Because if people don't show up, we're still live. But I know that my strength is in the connecting, the conversations with other people. Because while that's possible, it's not going to be the best. I'm going to ramble.
Well, you know what? You're right, though. I saw that right off the bat the first time I met you on one of these networking calls.
Yeah.
There was maybe 15 people, but just in how you talk and how you connected everybody, I felt like I was there in the room with you. So that's a gift. You have that ability to connect people. People are drawn to wanting to follow your lead. And that's a gift. That's, so you're right where you should be. I think you do it well.
Thank you.
And that kind of goes into what you were talking about, Vynny, with I actually wrote them down, the words from last time, entertaining and impactful, right? Because this time was loyal, determined, and helpful. When you're entertaining somebody, you can get their attention. And then when they're focused on you and you're focused on them, then you can actually help. If you're trying to force help and they're not engaged, or they're trying to get help and you're not engaged, it doesn't work. And so but Laura, like you want to talk to people. That's why you are so engaging. And that's what assists, all of us in being able to help, is our ability to connect.
Corey has mentioned that public speaking is a lot like being a stand-up comedian. There's an entertainment aspect to it. And exactly what you just shared, Jacqueline, it's one thing to share information. I could come and regurgitate data to you on a stage. That's not, but when you speak from the heart, when you talk about experience, we're just designed that. You can't help but connect with that. When somebody speaks from the heart and it hits your heart, even if you don't know them, it might be on a topic that it's not even that you were looking to hear about, but there's a connection there. And that's the beauty of being able to connect with people,
right,
where they're entertained, they feel like they're heard, and then that connection happens.
That's why I love being in a room with you. You're always trying to engage. You're always coming from your heart. You're just so easy to talk to.
Oh, you got half an hour to cut that out.
Yeah. I think a lot of people who are heart-centered, I've never met one person who isn't heart-centered, who isn't easy to talk to. We just connect and we flow better.
Yeah, and you think of that. Why is it that you can meet, like when I went to bLU in Edmonton, just about everybody there, instant connection, because everyone is in that same mindset. They have that energy and they're open-hearted. Everybody has a message that they want to share. They're on their journey of whether it's writing a book or getting their business going, and that journey's somehow helping other people, reaching and connecting. So right off the bat, that connection happened. And I remember when I first met Andrew, I was just on his podcast the other day. The first day I met him there, he was there with his wife, Bree. And I just went up to him and said, "Hey, I'm Vynny." Shook his hand and I said, "I don't know what it is about you, but I feel your energy. You're a good person." And we just hit it off, and it's just, it's kind of cool.
Okay, now it brings up memories of like elementary school where we just go up to somebody, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" "Sure." And then we're just friends.
I like your energy. Can I hang out?
Well, wait, that's the adult version. "I like your energy." And you're like, "We're friends."
Yeah.
We're allowed to say.
Some of my best
I
friendships
ask people to be my friend.
happened like that. Actually, a good friend of mine that I went to the academy with 30 years ago, we both just retired. He's getting married this weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. So I'm emceeing his wedding.
Oh, is that a speaking gig that you were like, "I go speaking gig"?
No, I'm doing a speaking gig Thursday. I'm emceeing his wedding on the weekend. Then I've got a French speaking gig the following Wednesday, also in Ottawa. So I'm going to be there for a week doing these things.
Nice.
But I met John that way. I was at the academy. Downstairs, they're like military barracks, and downstairs there's a pool table, ping pong table. I was playing ping pong with somebody, and in the room walks in this guy, and we're very, very different. It was kind of like Depeche Mode meets Bon Jovi. He was Depeche Mode type thing. So he comes in with his collared shirt, his Docker pants, his shoes, and his briefcase. But it's just something about him. So I was playing ping pong, and I just caught the ball, and I went up to him and said, "How you doing? I'm Vynny Hick." And he said, "I'm John. We've been best friends ever since." It was just a connection. And so part of the speech I'm using at his wedding, I'm going to say, moments that change your life. One of the moments for me was catching a ping pong ball. And then I'm going to go into how I met John. Right? So,
That's actually more how I felt about you on one of the networking calls, because I was like, I really liked her energy. And then after the call, I was like, okay, well, if I see her again, I see her again. And then you message me, "You want to co-host with me?" I'm like, she felt it too.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't have to give you candy, I tried that when I was a kid. I used to, you want to be friends with somebody, you come with your candy. "Hey, do you want some candy? Can we be friends?"
I used to just perform tricks on the gymnastic bars.
Oh, wow.
And then I would have an audience, and then I would just go talk to the audience. Okay, so
I haven't known a lot about you before this. You've mentioned at least 4 times now about being a cop. Can you tell us a little bit more about your transition from law enforcement into speaking?
Sure. A lot of what I talk about is steeped in policing stories. The reason I've spent a third of my career as a canine handler, and people love dogs. Even people that aren't dog lovers, they love stories about police dogs. People used to always approach, you do a lot of presentations as a canine handler, and you always got to tell everyone, okay, do not pet the dog and don't feed the dog, right? Like he sees your hand coming, that's bite-sized fingers there. But people are just drawn to that, and they always want to ask questions. So I tie in a lot of stories like that from my career, whether some of them are very intimate moments. And when I talk about recruiting, one of the things I talk about is, make sure that what you're selling is accurate. Whatever it is you're recruiting for, don't paint over the ugly parts. Paint the clear picture. I bet how many people, and if we could see the audience, how many people have bought something online and have returned it because it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. It was either smaller, had they put a coffee cup next to it, you would have got a better idea on size. The dimensions were written, but it's in small print. And so when I talk about recruiting, I say, make sure what you sell is accurate. And when I do that talk, I talk about doing a death notification, going to someone's door because someone has passed. But it's very real, it's very raw, but those stories are impactful. So a lot of the stuff that I did in my policing career have transitioned into my talks somehow here and there. And it's given me a great storybook that, 30 years of of stories, really, and adventures. So that really played a role, and that's how I got into public speaking. My last 3 years with the OPP, I was a senior recruiter, and my job, because I'm bilingual, my job was to travel across Canada to speak at colleges and universities, promoting policing and recruiting into our organization. So a few people had approached me and said, "Hey, you should do this like when you retire." And I was like, "Yeah, I never really thought about it." But then that kind of seed was planted, and that's how I started doing public speaking. So really, policing kind of led me into that. As I ended my career, it was kind of a transition as a full-time public speaker for the organization, and now doing it privately for myself. So the one led into the other, but the career definitely has provided me with tons of material that I can tie in. One of the talks I do is the leadership lessons I learned from my police dog. There's tons of funny stories in there. It's amazing what you can learn from your pet. And it just, that seems to connect. So you could have a group of strangers, and again, it's about making that connection from a stage. You share a good story and people can see it's real, it's intimate. It shows that you're normal, but there's a dog story involved, and people can't help but kind of get into it. And now you have that connection, their minds open, their hearts open, and you can share.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So, some stats on that. The top 3 genres of content that people tend to gravitate to are landscapes, women, and animals.
Wow.
So, like,
Landscapes.
anything to do with those.
Those are so, I never would have, is that just for men, or is that society in general?
That's in general.
Really?
Like, if you
Women
look
are number
at,
2. Good for you guys.
I don't know which number is which, but
you
I
made
know
the
that
list. Hey, you made the
We're
list.
trying to figure us out. That's
Yeah.
probably what that is.
it's
We
not
are.
about what we're saying. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying. So,
I mean, it's a lifelong journey to to figure all that stuff out. I'm not surprised that you're on the top 3 though. I'm really not.
I'm not surprised about the dogs, but the landscapes, I don't even understand that one.
Oh, because of their beauty, they pull you in. Like, if you can get a good shot of a mountain or a waterfall, just as human beings, we're like, oh yeah, I want more of that. I was looking for a cup. You saw the cup earlier. I was trying to drink my smoothie nicely without, ugly smoothie inside.
I was wondering what you were drinking.
Trying to have food in my stomach without my stomach making noise. So I was looking in the cupboard and I saw a glass with a cute little kitten on it. I'm like, I cannot use that one because the attention will be on the cup. The entire time.
Now I noticed you're in a fake background, right? It's hard to tell.
Yes, I'm in somebody else's house. So this is actually my office at home.
Mine is real.
Yours is real, but yours is a fake backdrop, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You can
Thinking
put
about
that
things
on
that
the
draw
laptop.
attention.
That's my light. That's my Lego bonsai tree because plants.
It's your virtual office.
Home. Where do you live?
This is the condo and I'm just gonna turn you like that. There's Lake Simcoe outside the door, so it's a beautiful spot. Like I said, I'm very, very grateful, very blessed. So the boat's just outside, so it's nice when you can walk outside your door, hop on a boat.
Are you still in Canada then?
Yes, Ontario, just about an hour and a half north of Toronto. But the beauty of this Lake Simcoe, is connected to Trent Severn Waterway, which feeds into the Great Lakes. So you can go anywhere in the world by water from my dock.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that wild? Anywhere in the world, because you can connect, like I said, on the Trent, you get into Georgian Bay, which is Lake Huron. You get into the St. Lawrence. You can take the intercoastal waters all the way to Florida, pretty much. And you won't touch the ocean until you get to Chesapeake Bay, I believe. So it's amazing.
I'm on the ocean, so like the ocean touches most of the world.
Yeah. Something about the ocean.
Let's bring it back for a moment. You said that your goal is to help people leave with an understanding of themselves and others. And we did talk about how not everybody's going to be a speaker and the different types of speakers. Why did you decide to be a speaker? How does that fit in with who Vynny is?
Well, like I said, I was always that kid that was good at saying jokes, storytelling, and people kind of pointed that out to me, like, you know, like people always say, Vynny, say that story. I said, well, you say it, you know, so no, you say it better. Or, you know, I think ever since I was a kid, I was good at entertaining a group with a funny story or a joke. So as I became an adult, that actually came very handy as a police officer, because it's all about communicating. And, you know, I've talked myself out of a lot of fights just because I was able to communicate and maybe share something funny or relate somehow, connect. So the speaking, like I said, the last part of my career, that's what I was doing full time for the organization. So it just seemed like a natural transition. The few people that approached me were like, hey, like, you should seriously consider this. And I thought, you know what? All right, I'll try it. And that's how, like, I just launched this in April, you know, but I had to get a website going, and, you know, that's how I connected with bLU to get some video, and now I'm starting to get gigs. So it's
perfect time.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I know during Taco Tuesday, we were talking about signature talks as our very first meeting, and the amount of people that either are speakers or want to be speakers that don't have their signature talk is kind of scary. So you said you had multiple talks.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up, because I was having that conversation with Dr. Leica. I was on his show.
Oh, yes, Alan, yeah.
And some people, there's so many schools of thoughts. I've noticed that since I got into this privately, everyone's trying to sell me something. Or people want you to buy this seminar, join that, you know. So there's a lot of people. Everyone's wondering what I'm selling, and they're always shocked when I say, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling a book. I'm not selling a seminar. I'm selling myself.
Yep.
And people say, oh, no, you got to do coaching. I don't want to do coaching. I have no interest in telling you how to unmess your life. That's your problem. You know, like, and Corey had said, like, well, some people need to hear it, like, in a harsh way. I go, well, it's just not my jam. I'm happy just going on stage. That's my spot. What was your original question? See, I went on that bunny trail again.
Oh, it's all good. See, speaking is one of your natural things. But that's what I was asking about, is how is the skill of speaking and you being a speaker, how does that reflect on who Vynny is? And you show
So
us.
it's definitely something that's natural for me to do. And so the fit was right. Like, I enjoy meeting people. I joke and I say I'm an introvert. Obviously I'm not. So connecting like that with people is just something that I love. And so that's where I was going. You get all kinds of different opinions about signature talks. I've had some people that say, you got to have a signature talk that you memorize verbatim.
No.
And I'm like, that's just not me.
No.
When I came to Edmonton, it was funny because Heidi was like, I didn't get your talk yet. And I go, was I supposed to send it to you? Like, how? She goes, well, is it written down? I go, no. And she goes, well, do you have a video of it? No. She's like, have you ever done this talk? No. She goes, this is going to be the first time. I go, yeah. She goes, do you have cheater slides? No. I go, as long as there's a timer, don't worry. And I mean, it went really well. Like, it was 18 minutes and 40 something seconds. And like, there's a clip of it on my website now.
So what you're saying is you're just spewing and radiating motivation. It just comes out.
I can't memorize it because it never comes out the same way. I mean, the idea that I'm going to speak about is set. I know where I'm going with it. But I've changed my talk on the fly. Like, even when I was recruiting, depending on the audience's reaction. If it was a younger crowd, sometimes I'd put a bit more humor because that seemed to connect more. But I've had, do you need me to?
No, I'll just be right back.
Okay. Sometimes it's also, like, if it was an older crowd, I would have more serious stories in there because that seemed to be connecting more. So for me, I don't have a talk that's like verbatim, it comes out this way. I have pretty well 3 different talks that I do, and they can be 10 minutes, they could be 45 minutes, just by adding to it, but the gist of them. And, so one's on recruitment, retention, one's on motivation, resilience, and one's on leadership with a police dog. So, but I find that there's a lot of people that give, and, always be patient with people that give free advice, but there's a lot of advice out there that contradicts other advice, or that contradicts the way I do things. And it's, it was funny to see Heidi's reaction to that because she was worried at first.
Right.
You know,
Really prepared. Well, I think that it's a balance between knowing what you want to say and being able to keep yourself on track, and then knowing when to completely get off script because your script, if you have one, doesn't align with the audience. And if you're connecting, you'll notice that.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We'll need to be able to work on the fly.
And the thing is, if you have a signature talk that's verbatim, well, by the fall, maybe things have happened in our world. Times have changed. Like, you know, things happen really. Like, you might want to be more relative.
Yeah.
You know, like you could be outdated really quick.
Yep.
And you know, one person told me, until you've done your talk 300 times, it's just practice. And it was on a kind of a business call. And I said, really? Think about that. So let's say you do your talk twice a month, let's say. So that's 48 times a year. You tell me it's going to take you what, like 5, 6 years, 7 years before you've got it down pat? If it takes you 5 years to get your talk down pat, do something else. Speaking's not for you. You know, so I can understand what they were, the point they were trying to make, but I'm like, that to me does not resonate because, you know, people have asked me, like, when do you practice your talk? I don't really, like, when I walk, so I walk every day, that's my thing. I'll go through it in my head. I know what I want to say. And if I know, like, the one I'm doing next weekend's 30 minutes. So talking on leadership, the police dog. So, you know, I'll kind of pretend while I'm walking that I'm on a stage. I'll time myself. I go, okay, yeah, that's about 28 minutes. Perfect. You know?
Yep.
And that's that.
Yeah.
It's, but a lot of the advice I've gotten, it was very different. So I think you got to find what fits for you. It's not one size fits all, right? So some people, this is the way they're wired. That's how some people need to see it written down, need to read it. Some people, like for me, it's like it's written in there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe that. It just, and it helps for being good on the fly because especially when I was recruiting, I've had some tough questions where you got a crowd of 150 people. And after the presentation, I would say, hey, if you have any questions, and with all the controversy in policing that, some people were like firing arrows, you know, you got to be able to take that and dance with it and roll with it. And
I like that. Dance with it.
Yeah. It's just you know, like I've had somebody, some pretty direct questions. Well, you know, why aren't there more women? Like, I'll make up an example. Why aren't there more women in policing with your organization? And like, this is in front of everybody. This person shouted it, like kind of, and I said, that's a great question. You know why? Because I can't get them to apply. Maybe you could help me. Do you have any advice for me? How do I get them to fill out the application? I want to hire them. Trust me, I do. How do I attract them? How could I do things differently? And kind of reverse it and put it back on the person. And I just...
And be open.
Yeah. So that gained me the respect of the crowd because they liked the way I handled it. And it kind of shut it down where now I'm like, okay. So, and I said, hey, if you're willing to stick around after, I would love to connect with you. And maybe, and that person didn't. But I think they were more there to try to make a point. Yeah. They made their point, but it didn't destroy the whole evening because of the way. So I think that being able to take it on the fly like that is part of not having stuff written down, being stuck to a script. Because others that would be stuck to a specific script will probably they'd start spewing statistics probably, or, you know.
I wonder how much of that is being an extrovert and how much of it is personality type. Do you know your personality type?
Fun?
Yes.
I did, we did an assessment once. It was through our association with the police, it's called DISC.
Oh, you did the DISC assessment. Yeah.
And I don't know, I was in that group that typical police officer. You know, like I said to Heidi, you tell me I need this by Tuesday at 2:00, you're going to have it probably Monday at 7 at night. Like, you know,
are you between the D and I? Like,
probably.
That's what I was thinking.
That's where I would peg you.
Yeah. Kind of organized, you know, get it done. Like, failure is not an option. You know, people say, well, what if that doesn't work? Then you got to make it work. And that's comes also from having done the job of a police officer for 30 years. It's not an option to not solve the problem. When you show up and it all goes for a crap, you got to figure it out. And like, you can't just say, oh, well, we tried. Sorry, that guy's beating you. and then walk away. You got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Failure is not an option. So I think that translates and starts to permeate into your personal life, where you just become organized. You always have a plan B and a plan C, so.
Kind of sounds like being an entrepreneur. It's either you figure it out or you don't eat.
Yes. It's funny when you say entrepreneur, I always think of, there was a comedian that talked about George Bush in a speech. He said, the problem with the French is they don't have a word for entrepreneur. It's like, it's a French word there, dude. Come
on. Oh, okay. We're just going to get into that just for a moment, and then I'll switch to asking you where to find you. So one of the things that drives me crazy is when non-French speaking / liking people, I will leave them unnamed, they say the word foyer. I was like, no, it's foyer.
Is that a fireplace or?
No, it's the front entrance.
Oh.
And if we go way back, then it's foyer. But
in French, it's funny because that sounds like a French word, but un foyer in French can be two things. It could be a fireplace, and usually with a stone mantle. That's un foyer. It can also be, I guess, like a vestibule of some kind. I didn't know that you use that in English. I would have, but that's because I'm French. I probably don't.
Yeah, but in Canada, we say foyer, and then other places that shall be unnamed say foyer.
America.
Okay.
They shall be unnamed.
America. You don't even have to say the A, eh? America.
America. No. I'm learning Italian, Rosetta Stone. And, it's surprising how many things you can say in French, because I actually took that when I was in high school, or Italian. You could be saying the worst thing in the world. It sounds so beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
My daughter makes fun of her friends because they say croissant, and she's like, no, it's a croissant.
A croissant. A croissant.
Like,
no. You got, I always laugh when I see the English speaking people. They'll say, bonjour, je m'appelle Jacqueline, G-A-C. They try to spell it. It's like, okay, yeah.
Okay, one more thing. My dad is Acadian French, which means his French is qu'est-ce que c'est doing ce weekend?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's,
then
it's
like a mix of French and English, and a lot of the words, especially verbs, are pronounced in such ancient or slang ways that other French speakers have no idea what they're saying.
They say pourquoi instead of pourquoi. They say there's certain.
It depends on which area of the Acadian.
Patois, it's a different patois, so it's kind of like, it's still French, but it's it's kind of like when you compare people from England, the way they speak English, same language as us, they just have that accent. Yeah. But sometimes French sounds more like a Newfie talking, where you're like, well, that's So.
Yep. Is that over there, bye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm going to bring it in to say that language, whether you're on a stage, whether you're writing, like there's so much depth to it. Understanding where you come from, what the references are, where even the words come from, so that we can, in hopes of getting our message across, have the pre-homework done to make sure that the right message in the right way comes to the right person. And now I'm going to ask you, Vynny, where do we find you, and what is your favorite way to communicate?
Where you find me? I'm right here. Look on your screen.
Yeah. Oh, and you in my house. We can go hang out somewhere.
Where you can find me is at my website, VynnyHick.com. So you see how I spell Vynny differently with 2 Y's. So that's Vynny, V-Y-N-N-Y, Hick, Hick.com. And that came, I was asked this the other day, why Vynny with a Y? Back in the early 90s, I wanted to get personalized license plates that said Vynny, and Vynny with an I was taken, and you could only get 6 digits. So I got Vynny with a Y, and it just stuck. That's been my nickname ever since. And now I use it as on my website, it says Vynny with a Y. Why? Because we all have a lot of whys. We all have questions. What we need are some hows, some how-tos. And what I'm going to bring is some insight so you can answer those questions to have, better understanding, So I use it kind of to.
You slick.
It works.
Yeah.
Worked out great that way. But that's where you find me, VynnyHick.com. You'll find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, stuff like that too.
So is your website your favorite way for people to contact you?
Yes, because
Okay.
I don't give out my phone number for say,
No.
so. But yeah.
Some people prefer email. I hate email. I'm like, just DM me on Facebook.
Yeah, so I'm typical cop. I was never on any social media my whole life till I joined this. So my niece actually does all my social media posts and that.
Oh,
Because people, if you sent me a link on Facebook, I'd be like, yeah, can you email that to me? Because I don't know how to look at Facebook on a computer either. So email, there's a form on the website you can fill out.
Okay.
And you can email me that way. It's probably the best way.
Awesome. Okay, so I like to hold space at the end of an interview just in case there's something on your mind or in your heart that you wanted to share. So what would you love to leave people with today?
I'm going to leave you with a quote that I kind of modified. The original quote came from a family friend. I just put out a post on this. And that is, it's my kind of my signature quote now. It's that every situation in life, no matter what, leaves you a choice to be better or to be bitter. It's easy to be better if you just find out you just won $1 million. Hey, I'll be a better person. But what if you just found out you're losing your job, or you just found out that your spouse crashed a car, or somebody just passed? It's easy to become bitter in certain situations, but you can make a choice and say, I don't see it. I don't know how. I'm choosing to be better from this event. And I can tell you from my life experience, when I look back, that the reason I'm where I am today is because I adopted that. And when I look back, I'm glad I made those choices, because it brought me the success and to where I am today. And so in that quote, I say, you have a choice to be bitter or better. Choose wisely, because your choice will echo in your future. And that goes both ways. If you choose to be a better person, you might not see it right away down the road. You're like, wow, I ended up finding this other job, which is way better, it pays better, I'm happier at work, and you go, wow, glad I chose to be better. If you choose to be bitter, it's like taking on a rucksack of bitterness, and you're going to just carry this with you. And it's going to affect everything. And you're going to carry that bitterness. That will echo in your future also. So choose wisely. But that's the thing. And I have to practice what I preach. I've had to remind myself of that quite a few times. Actually, just last week, somebody backed into my car in our building. And I was like, I wanted to be bitter. Trust me, I'm only human. But I chose to be better for it. And I thought, you know what? I can afford to fix this. How blessed am I that I can afford to fix this? Is it an inconvenience? Yes. But I have my 2 legs. I can walk. I still have my health. It's a car. Cars can be fixed. And I adopted that philosophy. But sometimes you have to remind yourself, because it's easy to want to go to bitter route. So that's my advice to everyone. Better or bitter.
I love that. And it's so funny that you bring up that you were in an accident and you had that mindset, because Randy Spelling posted the same thing a few days ago, is that he was in an accident and he had the exact same mindset you did. So I love that. It's like, no, I'm okay. It's just a mirror. It's just a little small thing. It can be fixed. While annoying, it doesn't have to affect the rest of it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it helps you to be grateful. It reminds you of what you have. How lucky am I that I have this nice car? I'm happy about that. So instead of, it's like the half full, half empty, seeing the positive. Yeah, that's my advice.
I will call this the official close of the main portion of your interview. Thank you, Vynny. I do invite you to stick around. Actually, I'm going to invite you to stick around twice. This first, the next 3.5 minutes-ish, I like to do a bit of teasing for the main part of the interview with some social media tidbits. And then, since you are our last guest, I'm going to invite you to stick around again for the last 10 minutes of the show, where we do a little bit of a wrap-up of the whole day. You don't have to stay for that, but you can if you want. And then I usually do a check-in after the show. So I'm going to start with Vynny this time. What is something that stood out to you during our conversation today?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Oh. I think how all 3 of us really have this deep understanding of connection. How you talked about how you connected. Jacqueline was commenting on that about, when we're talking about connecting from and it's funny, even though like I've never met Jacqueline long enough to have a conversation with you. And Laura, we've spoken briefly, but when we talked about communication, it's like we were all just on the same page and everything flowed. So that's kind of cool. I like that. That stands out to me.
Thank you. What about you, Dr. Jacqueline? What is something that stood out to you in our conversation with Vynny?
Just to be a teaser, not give everything, but I really, really love, Vynny, your philosophy on life, and the fact that you put that into your speaking events, and what you preach, you also practice. Even though it's hard, you still practice it. We were talking in some of the other interviews on how none of us, no matter what your degree is, what your profession is, no matter how great you're doing in life, none of us are any better than anybody else. And we all are just doing the best that we can with what we have, but it doesn't mean that it's easy. And so with your example during the interview, I really loved how you gave an example. It was just last week, but it's also your philosophy in life. So I love that.
Thank you.
One of the things that stood out to me was that, again, teaser, you
We're
shared.
not giving the goods away.
What?
We're not giving all the goods away. These are
all the goods. We'll give some. Yeah. We'll give. Is that you answered whether or not everyone is built to be a speaker. You'll have to go listen. But on top of that, I love the quote that you had too. Every situation leaves you a choice to be better or bitter. I broke glass this morning. I woke up and I'm thinking that I have an hour to get ready. And then I'm reminded I have 10 minutes to get ready. So I'm already in a rush. Then I went to go grab like protein powder, and I accidentally, like, my sleeve touched a cup enough for it to fall. And I caught it, but too late because it had bounced off the cup on the counter.
So you were completely calm when you came online with me. So like, you looked great. I wouldn't even be able to tell.
Oh, and then I had to travel to the city and set up in a new place and all of that. But it cracked and smashed right above where the cat food is and the cat water is. So I had to make sure that everything was safe for my pets before I left. Just like, I'm going to be so late. And yeah, so the situations like that, I love that quote. I can choose to be better or bitter. So I chose to be bitter for like 5 seconds before choosing to be bitter because I need to feel my feels.
Right? I love how you turn it around.
Breathe, move on.
Yeah. That was me as well.
You as well. So thank you, Vynny, for being here. I so appreciate you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you.
Yeah. So I do invite you to stick around for the next 10-ish minutes or so as we just wrap up the day. What usually happens is, I don't think I've told Dr. Jacqueline this either, is I like to do a bit of a recap of some of our favorite moments with all of our speakers. And you can still say favorite moment from you being here. It's all good. I like to recap what kind of patterns came up for the day so that people can see, there's always a pattern. There's always a connection. One person's talking about it. You want more information? Go see somebody else that spoke that day, because there's probably something else there that's going to help you with that understanding. And so I like to highlight the patterns. So we're going to start by just sharing something that stood out to us over the course of the whole day. So I'll start with you, Dr. Jacqueline. You've been here all day.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that stood out to you?
Well, Vynny, I'm glad that you got to be the last guest, because I feel like a lot of this you already talk about. And if not, then you would just naturally put it in because of experiences like this. But a theme that we saw today was gratitude, connection, and who was it earlier? I don't want to give away the teaser that I had just teased on. I'm like, but I'm about to give it away right now. But finding a growth, like a lesson, or being better from something instead of having the negativity, but transforming. That has all been a theme today, because at the very beginning of today's live session, almost 4 hours ago, Laura was talking about having the topic of mental health. Yeah. And, with my years as a trauma therapist, I've actually worked with a lot of cops and a lot of other people in, survivors of trauma or military. And it's very, very hard nobody said that it was easy to transform pain into growth and to have gratitude throughout the process. It's extremely difficult. And the fact that all of our interviewees today were talking about how to do that, not only, okay, yes, you can hire them, you can read their books, you can see them speak and all that, but if you just listen to them, you know, like just being around those people, connecting with them, feeling their light and feeling their love, you know, it gives you something. And so I think we all need things and people like that. But that was a huge thing today. It was a lot of things, actually.
You know, I'm just starring a few things. Vynny, even the few minutes of the last speaker that you've heard, what's something else that you just wanted to highlight as a nice recap for end of day?
I didn't really get to see a whole lot.
Like 5 minutes.
Even though we're on a Zoom call or whatever you would call this, you can still feel people's energy. I think that's really cool. Because there's something about connecting with people in person. Like I love in person. I don't do a lot of talks like this. I love the real, but I always find it amazing how you can connect with people through a screen.
Right.
Isn't that amazing that the humanity can transcend the technology and you feel connected to the person you're looking at? That I love. That's awesome.
That's right. You came in during that last couple of minutes during the transition. We were actually talking about energy and like feeling somebody's vibration and you know, in your life.
So I'm just going to recap some of the things that came up today. During our conversation with Dennis, we were explaining how even the experts need help in their own expertise. Yeah. We're not perfect, okay? Even if we're the best of the world, we're still going to need help in that thing. So don't expect us to be perfect. Even experts need help. With Donna, there's a couple things. We all love the idea of having that one-on-one tutor so that we can be the best that we can be in as short as possible time. And the idea of just send it, said her husband. When she was writing an article, it's like, stop going over it forever. Just send it. Press the button. Press it. Okay. Betsey, we were talking about Louise Hay and Dolores Cannon and that book that you showed us. What was the name of the book again?
I still have it, actually. It's called Soul Speak.
Yeah.
Cannon was the nurse. She wrote the book because if you can't focus and get silent and quiet enough to hear your soul, it will speak through the body. And that's where a lot of mental health issues and a lot of physical ailments are coming from.
Yeah. So we were getting to the root with Betsey too. And Irina was talking about wanting somebody to come and save her. We've all been there. We've all had those moments where like, please, just somebody. No, we are that somebody that the old us needed. So now we seek out the people who are in those situations so that we can help guide them.
Absolutely. Okay. I really appreciated Irina too, because as a single mom, like we need to hear stuff like that. And that's her transformation, is being a single parent, being able to assist them.
One thing I wanted to leave everyone with is also with Irina, we were talking about songs that we're listening to, and we may have to ask you too, Vynny. One of the songs she's listening to right now is Never Gonna Not Dance Again, because it's the messages behind the music. It's by Pink. New Shoes was the one that you brought up.
By Paolo Nutini. You should, I don't know if he's Italian or he's French, Vynny, but if you listen to the song, maybe you can tell me. But
what's the guy's name?
Paolo Nutini, and his song is called New Shoes. When you listen to it, you're going to feel the vibe. I just don't know what nationality he is.
I'll have to look it up.
And then my song was This Is What It Sounds Like from K-Pop Demon Hunters. What is the song that we're just creating a playlist? What's the song that you would love to leave people with a nice positive message that you're focused on?
I listen to a lot of 80s rock, so like rock ballads and stuff like that. So how about Finally Found the Love of a Lifetime by Lifehouse, I think.
Aww.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Great rock ballad.
Okay. So we've created our playlist.
Love of a lifetime.
Finally found a love of a lifetime. Okay.
All I hear is
The other song that
It's your typical rock ballad. Yeah,
yeah.
you're gonna love it.
Okay, so now I'm going to call this the official close of day 2. I want to thank every single one of our guests for being here, and especially Vynny. I know you're leaving. Was it tonight to go
Yes.
to Ottawa for your
Yes.
speaking gig? You're like, no, I can still make the interview. Okay, good. I want to thank our speakers. I want to thank my co-host, Dr. Jacqueline. I want to thank every single one of you who are here live with us. Oh, thank you so much. And of course, everyone who is joining us on the replays. We appreciate you so much. This is bLU, which stands for Business Life in the Universe. And we talk about how to amplify your message. I will remind you, as I lean right in, we are doing networking tomorrow. Please come. It is free. You get to meet some of our speakers. You get to meet some of our co-hosts. You get to chat and play with me. And of course, being involved in the community, because it's not so much about the learning. We've learned lots, okay? Let's implement. Let's be in the communities and the people, surround ourselves with who we want to be so we can shift that identity, which is one of the things that popped up as a pattern today, was about that identity and being who you are. So I wanted to highlight that. Please join us tomorrow for another day of bLU Talks Amplify Your Message. Same bat time, same bat channel, which is 10 a.m. Eastern. And we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And of course, soon these seasons will be put up on online TV. So much love. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to click the button and then I'm going to chat with my co-hosts behind the stage. So I'm going to click the button and sing and dance.